Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil is locked and loaded along with Sean, and they're ready to look at the names as decided by you. So make sure to check out How to Trade on the Midday Show with Adair and I, and get into the chat and vote for the names and make them on to the top 5. Starting off with the Future, around that 465 area on the triple Qs. A good recovery, specifically on the NQ September contract. We measured from the top of the crest where we got to on July 12th to the bottom there that we made this morning, almost exactly 10%, after which we really caught a bid to the high side, and that had all the Mag 7 names move up, some still in negative territory. Definitely not in negative territory right now is TSLA, the strongest of the Mag 7 names. No real catalyst for this one today, but we saw what happens after its earnings report sold off aggressively. Bit of a relief rally right now, guys, as this one takes back up.
I think you just said what the catalyst may have been there, Sharif. Relief rally. Look, Tesla was short sell, it was down over 10%, it was SSR, and sometimes that can be valid. Like, you have a pullback and a dip that big, sometimes just to even go a little bit back in context is just relieving the pressure. And I think that's what Tesla did today. Would have loved to have got an SSR bounce on Tesla, but usually that involves buying a dip of sorts at the open. You can see there was just no dip to be had. And it ended up trending. At the end of the day, Tesla gave a couple of good shorts, so it was able to go 2 for 4 and be up on it, but it was a long today. It was a dip buy long. I was short into yesterday's highs, but I shorted this one early at the 221 level, and then we had to take 2 shots at it at this lower high. Whoops. I was doing the wrong way. At this lower high here, that was about 222.5. It pulled into VWAP, then right back up, tested 225, which was the next level we played. Ended up bouncing higher lows at 223, and it's still going. But you got to keep context in mind here. Great day by Tesla, 4.5%. I mean, look, it's spectacular. It's a rip your face off rally, all of that good stuff. But you still broke down from like to the 240s and supported 232, 233 for the earnings. And you haven't gotten back to that level. So that whole like chop zone we had in the Tesla breakout, you're still underneath all of that. So this could break, go another 3 or 4% up, and then be challenging that gap fill. So I don't think this is like smooth sailing or anything. You're not convincing me that, oh, like Tesla's just going to start going on a bull run again after the earnings. It would have to get back through that 230, the mid 230s, and then I'll be a little bit more impressed with the move. I'm impressed with it on a day, but I'm talking about a higher time frame. It needs to get back up into the 30s and hold there. Otherwise, you're still in that pullback after the earnings. But great V-shaped recovery. Some stocks did a V-shaped recovery where they dipped at the open. This was a V-shape from yesterday's lows right back into yesterday's highs. This afternoon, I don't think you want to fight Tesla. There's a lot of other things that are putting in lower highs and look like they might be shorts. I don't know that Tesla right now is one of them.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, look, Tesla, again, was a huge short. I mean, this 223, we took it out to 218.50. So again, multiple shorts, multiple outs, nice move to the downside. And then we just messed around with it again at that exact same level, and it didn't work. We tried to go short against 222. At that time, it would have been where VWAP or the 50-period moving average was. That didn't work. And we've actually left it alone since. I don't know. I'm looking for some shorts. I don't know if this is a prime candidate because we're up so much right now, but the market's below the 50-period, trying to go back down. We're $1.20 the money on the Qs. We'll talk about that when we get to SPY. All right, let's go to the next topic there. SMCI. Wow, what a name, what volatility in that one today, Sharif.
Super microcomputers, Sean, good look here. I mean, it hasn't done much, up 0.15. No real catalyst for this one today. It does report August 6th, very high beta, likely recovering with the overall chips after they really took a hit after the Biden administration came out and possibly adding new sanctions onto the chips as well as to AI models, not just GPUs here. That had Nvidia, AMD, and the like selling off. SMCI, no different there, but catching a bit of a bid today, trying to stay positive, guys.
We're getting a nice little take here. ChatGPT apparently going to open up Search GPT, which means we do get some downside kicks there for Google. It's just happening right now. So there goes Google right now. ChatGPT opening up, and again, brought to you by, we will have Mr. Faloona on. Oh my God, this market's tanking right now. I got to show you this in just a couple seconds. All right, nice move here coming in for Micron. We are short Micron right now. We could talk about this. It's a chip name, right? Nice pull right back into the downside now from Micron. I'm bidding 909.11 here on, or 109.11 on MU. Let's take advantage of it, see if we can get it 31 right now, and then cancel that nice little move to the downside right there. And then here comes the market. Just made a move in as well as we've been shorting that one. All right, SMCI. Yeah, Neil's just looking at it there and talking about if you had a bid down there, you would have got a nice little level 665. Oh my. Yeah, but coming right back into support again. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like for an investment, I think you got to figure out this company, know a little bit more than I do on them. But you know, that 200 period's coming into play. If you buy stock off that, then I mean, this would be another one of those plays. It hasn't been even close. I mean, probably it's 200 periods probably down here. We haven't been there since like early January, early February of 2023. So it's really rode this all the way up. You've broken below the 50 period, but what hasn't these days? So I like this take at 650, but you know, without focusing too much on the name itself, it's still up today when the market is up. So that's nice. Holding well, not doing as well as other names in the sector, but right now SMCI, I always look at Dell and think that they're kind of, you know, with the racks and all that kind of stuff moving around together, Dell's pulled back as well through some of these levels. So some of these names getting pretty interesting right now as possible long-term investments. That's what the 200 period sort of is there for.
When you say racks, all I can think about is shooting pool. That's it. Yep. I mean, there was back in the mean streets of Brampton, as you like to say, racks was the spot. That was the spot. When we were in high school.
Racks.
When we were in high school, that was
been racking up the pool.
No, that was the joint. That was our joint. And the bouncer at racks. I'll get to SMCI in a second. The bouncer at racks, and this is where Sean and I grew up and went to high school together. He was in a rap group called Harpoon Missile. I don't know if you remember those guys.
Yeah, I remember.
They were pretty legit. Look them up. I thought they were pretty good. Good, solid dude. But
tracks, I think.
I think obviously if you bought the dip on anything today, you were laughing. And I'm not an SMCI guy. Like anything that was 200 pre-moving average that I liked, I had stink bids today. I think I picked up one. It was just meta. Obviously, you could have bought a lot of bottoms today. I wish I had, but I got some meta in. And when we talk about big reversal, if this is a stock that you're trading and it does a pull, like break of this monster support, like look at the big level of support down in the 6.75. When that happens and it liquidity grabs underneath, once it's gotten back over, like if you were shorting this, let's like stop if it breaks back above that support level at 675 and then find a way in. That was kind of the lesson of the day. I think there were spots on other stocks where it was a little more obvious. SMCI just tends to go ham. Now in the NASDAQ 100, I think that gives it a little bit more oomph when it hits a key level. So it's worth paying attention to. I'm more interested in this stock when they do split. As Sean mentioned, we'll get up to AMD and Nvidia specifically, but you know, Micron finally is the other direction. Instead of on the way up, it's finally like shorted on the way down.
Finally
which
is right.
I know it is what it is. Like sometimes the stock stair steps up, and each step it can look like it's on the way back in, but this is actually a lower high that it's putting in. Like you don't see that with, like you look at SMCI, like you're only now maybe doing that. This SMCI is so strong, but it's trying to hold on to green into a market that's trying to do exactly the same. So if you haven't booked profits on longs, I think that makes sense, and probably most people long from this morning, I would assume, you've been covering here. Because it's only, like it's a good rally, but think about the last few days. Not that big of a chunk. You know, be careful.
NVDA next on the list here, down, up 0.84, was above 1%. Great recovery off the bottom, though, still below 120. Again, no specific catalyst for this name, but there is the overall chip recovery. There is their competitor, though, AMD delaying the release of one of their new processors, the Zen 5. That could be bullish for this name as AMD looks to take on NVIDIA's dominance in AI GPUs, guys.
All right, look, I mean, NVIDIA, thanks, Sharif, right there. Yeah, look, I mean, this is going to change back and forth a lot as we get in through, you know, who's going to be playing this AI game, what exactly does that mean for a lot of these names. But the one thing that's going to be the truth, I feel like, is NVIDIA is going to continue to be a great tool to trade. And, I mean, we were short early twice, and this was nice. This is 113. That's 108. So that's $5. Then we lost our way a little bit here trying to short it against the pre-market high, but that was actually okay. We just had to do it multiple times. So sometimes you get stopped out real quick, and we've done that. We gave some back, but then we shorted again into 116, and man, oh man, that printed out. That's 113. That's another 250. That's another $2 right there. So these shorts printed, and then we just messed around with it again, and it just was not going, and eventually we got out, but we should have, in hindsight, looked at this and said 116.65 is where we should have got out, not for flat for that last 10%. Nvidia still moving to the downside. Look, we just took a nice trade here. This is the market. We told you what the number one stock's been. It's been the market for me. There's the TQs again. We're almost $2 in the money on this trade as it continues to spin out of control. So, I mean, look, like everything, we just took Microsoft as well, brand new position. I wish I would have been able to go over this with you before it hit. But right now, Microsoft, I was thinking breaking VWAP right here. It looks like we actually stopped immediately on VWAP. So we're short right now at 45s. But I don't know. I guess it didn't break or it did break. But at the end of the day, I was going to try to hold this back up to 424. About 50 cents worth of trouble here for Microsoft. Let's see if it goes down. I just thought maybe the market was going to head to VWAP, and I thought Microsoft was a little vulnerable being down 1% here today. So brand new short initiated now with Sir Softy.
Sir Softy. There you go.
I mean, you got respect. I mean, I'm in it right now.
Oh, I thought it was because of London.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to make
it wasn't because of it, but yeah.
Well, you know, Sean's going to London in a couple of weeks. You know, so sometimes you got to think about that kind of stuff and get with the lingo and all that good stuff. So like Nvidia, I stopped shorting it when it broke above VWAP and was kind of thinking it was going to run the 117, like run this as strong as Nvidia usually is on these V-shaped recoveries. Never happened. So 117 is your resistance spot. We get back up there again. I think I look for a fade. I said I would look for some kind of a solid long entry, but then it dipped, made a lower high, didn't sniff VWAP, and never really set up that well for a long. Although you're now getting a higher low here. So I'm going to keep eyes on this. Maybe the 113 and VWAP will come into play for Nvidia. But right now I'm looking a little bit more at Micron, and we'll get to AMD because that's the other one in the chip land that I think I like a little bit better this afternoon. Oh, just I should mention, well, you guys probably already heard the news. I mean, Uber, gig, yada, yada, yada.
I didn't really hear that news too much.
Oh, it was just the one appeal, court decision. So Uber, huge volume spike. I'm just going to quickly go over this because it's not on our list. Huge volume spike midday, actually closer to 1 o'clock. Broke out to 69, held here at 66.90, then went up. I took the first consolidation. You know, that kind of didn't work. And then it held here cleanly at that same like 66.80, 66.90, scalp into this level. It's about 30 or 40 cent range. And I just reloaded it off the same bid. It's not really VWAP. VWAP hasn't been the hold. It's been this 66.80 that I'm long in front of. So I have 90s. If it breaks 80, I'm out and look for something else. But there was that positive news for Uber. Doing decent enough volume, but you can see it's tapering off a little bit here.
He's here. He's hanging out with us, guys. All right, guys. The SPY right now up about a little bit more than 1/3%. The NQ a little bit above that flat area, but it really is about the Dow and the Russell. The Dow almost up 1%, about 0.89 last time I checked, and the Russell up 1.9 last time I checked. Talk about rotation. It's a real deal, at least for now. We'll have to see if that can continue. But yeah, today we got the GDP growth number, and it came in above expectations. Make sure to hang out with us tomorrow because we get the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, PCE, slated to come out tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, that's going to cost you one apple fritter, Sharif, because I just heard.
What does Sharif do now?
I just heard him say real deal. He said that's he said IWM, that's the real deal.
Yeah,
that's
he's fully aware that's going to cost you.
Yeah, I mean, so that's right there. I want an apple fritter for that. And it's just about being, we try to keep things respectful around here. I mean, anybody that would steal somebody else's line, clearly that person is a no, but that person is a bamboozler.
I'm not.
That person is weaseling their way into things. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, why would you take somebody else's clearly their line and then steal it? You weaseling in and weaseling out and bamboozling and quadunking all over the place. You don't do things like that around here, right? So we try to keep it real. The real deal as well was the SPY and where it bounced. I mean, come on. Okay, so look at the
Getting roasted.
support. No, we're just having fun. So the SPY 542. Let's see if it holds this afternoon. Remains to be seen. But this is the last level of support. You dipped, closed just at it, right at the 50 period on the daily, and did the breach. Look what happens when you regaining that 542. That means regaining yesterday's low, regaining the 50-period moving average. And like that's the point where it went from V-shaped recovery to consolidation, was right at that line. So if we lose 542 this afternoon, hold on to your shorts. If we bounce on 542, find some longs. Uber has news, so I don't know if that's going to be the one, but like anything that's strong today. I don't know, like Home Depot's having a good day today. Caterpillar's having a pretty good day today. Nvidia, like those types of things. If we hold on to this 542, ignore that dark pool wick, we are at 543. So hang on. I think covering, profiting on shorts into that level is going to make some sense. But yeah, sometimes you look at the chart and it bounces off and you hold support at that line that everyone's interested in. Right now on the SPY, that is $542.
Oh my God, come on, Mr. Softy. We good? We good? We good, Sir Softy? There you go, Neil. We good, Sir Softy? Let's go to the downside right now. We did average into a little bit this up at 424. But here we go, man. We're trying. We're trying to like battle back. We talked about sort of how tough this morning had been for myself and, for many. But right now we're trying to make a little bit of a push here into the close for short side of trading. We're $1 in the money on Micron. We just got that. We're almost $1. We got that bid right there at 12s. And then we're in $2 now in the TQs. We get that bid as well. But whether or not Softy goes down now, I don't know. We just took some more outs down here. So it's been good. But our stop remains in and around this 50-period moving average. So we'll see. Hopefully we can hold for a downside push. I am bidding teens. Well, I'm bidding 12, so I'll tell you what it is. 423.12 to the downside. Hopefully coming in at some point for us would be that trade. So, okay, that's Microsoft coming through. What are we talking about? The SPY. Oh, okay, perfect. Instead of SPY, I will pivot over to the NASDAQ. This has been my number one thing. I've tried to look at SPXL and stuff like that. I just feel, and I don't want to give a big shout out to Brankles. I don't think he's there, but I was mentioning it to him before. And I said the mistake early on, and whatever. I'm here to tell you that I'm, hello, we're human. Hello, we're human. Hello. Right now, says Jack Armstrong, as we put $1 right now in on this name for Microsoft as it's trying to come down. We'll see if we can get a bid down there. We actually just did catch that bid. Oh, we did. Okay. 422. Well, it's right here now. 422.80. Good little take there. Oh, yeah. That's a good one right there as we do the patented Adara clap.
I love the reaction.
This time it's for $1. This time it's for $1. We'll take that out now for that dollar claps right now. So, all right, good trade there, $2 for TQs. But what I was talking about with Brankles before is this is how we lost earlier. Let me show you, be very, very clear on what happened here. Actually, Apple was fine because we actually picked the bottom. Apple's wrong. That's not the problem. It was all of this at the same time. 10 o'clock, 9:50 when we started to break. We were long Amazon, wrong at the same levels. Look, we're long Google, wrong. All we were doing was sitting here bidding everything. Long Meta, wrong. But really? Come on, Meta. All right, everything else, right? Tesla, we tried some more trades in there. At the end of the day, what I was trying to get at is just sit there and trade the market, right? He's like, look, if you have long bias in there, then just look at the Qs, right? And I'm like, yeah, but some of them were specific names, and I like, reasons why I like Google better than Amazon. But at the end of the day, when the market starts making moves like this, it's nothing is going to save itself, right? I mean, the market looked like it was positive, and all of a sudden it just tank-citied, and then it started to make back up. So no matter what you're doing, this is a hard trade to catch that falling knife. I would have much rather, and I've noticed that when I trade the TQs, it's generally in the afternoon when we got a feel for the way the market is potentially moving, and that's what we did right there. We found some tops. Sure, it took a minute, right? We had to average into this one, then it fell. Then we had to average into this one, then it fell, and now it's falling. So let's just stay with what we have right now. Again, $2 or so in the money on the TQs, but I've already done the math, man. I've already ran the numbers. We're having our best month, and most of it is related to the TQs. So that's going to be something there that I'm not going to forget about, and we're going to keep on trading the TQQs here heading into next month and throughout the summer. And then, we'll look at individual names.
Google's still tanking,
but
by the
today,
way,
I know, that's Google's still taking, okay. See, the thing was about Google, and we'll get, is that on the board? No, not yet, AMD.
It wasn't new news, though.
Yeah, it's like we wrote down 170. We really liked it, you know, but it goes down to 168, only to go back up to 173, where look what we did up here. We shorted it until we got stopped out. I don't know. I feel like that was, I don't even know what was happening there. I must have got up from my seat and then got stopped out. But there's Google. And I don't want to pretend like we knew this tank was happening. This is Search GPT right now. So OpenAI coming out and firing a gun right at Google. So that's going to be a problem for them. We'll see how that reacts. I shorted Microsoft, had nothing to do with ChatGPT, of course. It should be good news. I shorted them because we were breaking VWAP. So we broke VWAP right there to the downside. We were able to, and fortunate enough, smart enough, probably not that one, to be able to get some more shares up there at 424. So far, so good here as we continue to make moves lower. I'm at the highest spot I've been at since destroying myself early on in the morning. So we're making a little bit back here with Microsoft, Micron, and the TQs holding these shorts.
Sorry, guys, I was just venting to Brendo. So AMD definitely underperforming its peers today, 2.5% in the negative here. And then as you can tell, it broke a key level of support. We had this area back in May earlier in the spring as support, and we broke that, trying to recover above it now. This is all as a result of the delay in the Zen 5 processor that was supposed to be slated out later this year. That's going to be delayed, and that's not a good look as they look to compete with Nvidia and get some of that AI market share.
Yeah, they're weaseling their way in to get little scraps and pieces of that AI market share. But what's interesting about it, look, you see, like we already showed the chart of like Micron just pulled back, Google's tanking, Microsoft is moving to the downside. The futures just pulled back as well. You have the second biggest red candle on a 15-minute this afternoon. AMD has, like, look at AMD in this last 7 or 8 minutes here while the market has been pulling back. It has done exactly nothing. It's not falling. It's not ripping. So I only traded AMD off the morning lower high, right? So it came in, lower high was very clean, 143.5. I was bearish on AMD because failed the 200 period moving average, failed support, like all that kind of stuff. Like it looked like a short to me in terms of momentum, but we waited. I had it at VWAP, and then we waited until this 143. It does a wick top. We shorted into VWAP. Now all of a sudden it just looks funny. And if it's not going down with this market, if the market ramps up again, I'm not sure this one's a short. If it does pop and give me a trade where it worked before at 43, so be it. I got eyeballs on it. It could always break down, and then we just take it on a breakdown trade. But it's interesting now, all of a sudden, this was dropping no problems the first time the market came in and pulled into VWAP. Now it doesn't even want to budge. And I think you have to be able to respect that. As we were saying, like other things are moving. Like in that time, Micron dropped from like almost 110 to 109. Same time moment, AMD wants to move 20 or 30 cents. And it's going back and forth, not straight to the downside. So I'll be very cautious with AMD. And if the market bounces, I think it looks, there's a buyer here, 141. So until that breaks, I don't want to be thinking short. Maybe they're breaking now and we can get into it. But speaking of getting into it, we're about to get into it with one of our favorite guests. A young man who I believe is going to want to talk about something with the H to the D for sure. So let's get it on. There he is.
Oh, look at these two gentlemen. What a crazy. Sean's got his hat on again. It's as if we were just here yesterday, wasn't it?
I mean, we like to have you on a
Something
little
like
more
that.
often, but you're too busy to come on, apparently, all these
true.
times. So,
That's true.
I mean, what are we going to do over there? How's it going, Mr. Andrew Rader? I mean, what a crazy moment we've been. Is it Home Depot? Is that what we talked about?
Well, I was hinting at it. No, because you guys were talking about Home Depot.
Were we talking about Home Depot before?
And energy.
And energy. It was two things. It was two things.
Right. All right, so anything that you saw, I mean, we had you on last week. What a dramatic move here in the triple Qs and the NASDAQ. As we were just at, Andrew, I mean, you were here 2 weeks ago, and just 7 days ago, believe it or not, we were at all-time highs. And now it seems like, oh my God, you know, the sky is falling right here. Give us any indication that might have tipped you off about a possible sell-off here. And do you think that this is going to be ending anytime soon, or are we kind of staying away until maybe we see the light through earnings season?
Sure, yeah. So last time, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there was a defensive rotation going on in the market, selling out of growth. You saw mega caps, et cetera, pulling back as a lot of money was flowing into these more defensive and value names. That is typically a leading sign of a market drop coming. But not only that, one of the biggest components, if you want to share my screen here, has been the seasonals. The seasonals, of course, every year you try to build some sort of expectation for the market, some sort of guideline, and seasonals are one of the best ways to do that. Now, is it look at this date and short after that? Not necessarily, but it is one of those guides to say around this time we can expect this price tendency or behavior in the market. And I've been setting up for this kind of late July top for a while now. And if we're gonna have another trust me bro moment, but this chart right here is kind of what we've been discussing. You guys remember last October of 2022, I came on here and I said 350 was the bottom. Well, this is going to be one of those charts. So over the next 2 weeks, I believe that the markets are going to have some sort of chop, some sort of behavior, but remain unchanged relatively. And then after that, I can expect continued selling pressure. But I do believe that this week has set the seasonal top. So 556 around there is the seasonal top for this trend to the downside. And eventually, I believe the bottom, Mr. Sean and Neil, will be 520. The reasoning for that is there is a massive amount of puts the put walls there. So traditionally, when I look at the options market, a huge level of put stacking on here, like we've seen on the 8/16 expiration for mid-August or beyond that, this level is stacked. So I believe that 520 is going to be the bottom, and 532 is also the other end of that. So that's the trust me, bro moment for the stream. You know, I always got to have one of those. That's kind of a signature thing. But that's that. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah,
Okay. So. We've got the moment. It's locked in. Everyone can rewind it and see it. But let's talk brass tacks. So based on that, like, what are the plays here? Like, what are you looking at? We can go over, the rally that happened. I know energies look really good. I actually pointed out this morning, like, you had some individual names in energy doing so well, like XOM versus like CVX, but obviously, XLE being pretty solid. Home Depot actually doing a nice move today. What are the plays off of this? What are you trying to do? Is it just back off, maybe go on a trip to London or something? Or do you have something very specific that you want to put on? Sean's going to London in a couple of weeks, that's all.
Sean, if you go to London, you got to go to Oxford Street, man. Okay, get to the Supreme store, go get dripped out. I better see you coming back fitted in some threads. But anyway, to answer Neil's question.
You don't worry about me, my guy. You don't worry about me. I'll get this all handled. You want me to pick you up anything over there or what?
No. Just come back in one piece, Sean. That's all we need.
That could be a problem.
That's...
All right. As far as Neil's question, amazing question. So what are the plays moving forward? Now, I like to give an upside trade, but also a downside trade, because anywhere at any time in the market, there is an upside trade. One of my arguments over the last few weeks has been the rate sensitive trades. That huge Tesla pump that happened a while ago was a reaction in a run up into that first CPI print. That was the first proof that the Fed can actually achieve the targets of moving towards cuts. So what I believe is that that's going to still be in play. And I do believe there's another leg higher in the Russells, the small caps, the rate sensitive names, the biotechs, the names that are off leverage, regional banks. These names that rely on leverage in a less restrictive economy to perform, there is going to be a run up in that. Remember that we're not waiting for the first rate cut. The trade is before the first rate cut. So I believe that there's going to be a trade in that. Now, specifically with names, there's a lot of different ones. There's home builders, regional banks. I've been looking a lot at biotechs, healthcare, Moderna. These type of names are all believing, to me, especially IWM, I believe has another leg higher. So when you want to see, hey, if the markets are going to bounce here, what is the better long? Is it SPY? Is it my favorite QQQ names? Is it TQQ, as Sean has been looking at? Or is it my favorite stock? Remember that trading your favorite stock is not necessarily going to be always the best opportunity. These guys on here do a great job. You can see all the time they're trading a variety of different tickers. That is because they're chasing different opportunities, because it's always moving. So when I'm looking at these kind of things, one of the best things I'm looking for is compare the indices, their relative performance. The leaders will get to continuation bounds, and the laggers will continue to sell off. And that's going to be QQQ, tech, and to the long side, those rate sensitive names.
Yeah, and to your point, like when you talk about like biotech looking good, the IWM is it's literally pulling back into its breakout. I think that's going to be a popular one, and I love that call, because at least you're buying something that's already strong, right? For some of these maybe biotech, healthcare type names, I'm just going to point out when the bad ones start going, that's how the group can be gearing for something up. And I'm only pointing this out because I can't remember the last time I was able to draw a trend line up on something like a Pfizer. Like
right, exactly. Yep.
You know, it's in even today, like it almost broke out the top today before pulling back and still making higher lows. So I do like that. I think, you know, there's always going to be things that are playing catch up. But just to go over to this IWM, I think we've had traders on the floor. We've had multiple guests now, I think, that are like, why not just look at the group? Why not just understand that it's held this breakout support level, and you can do a heck of a lot worse than joining a consolidation in a trend, especially like you said, we haven't even gotten a rate cut yet, which we know is coming with with as much certainty as possible, right? Like you get, you know, there's death and there's taxes and we're going to get one in September. Obviously, if you're like me and you have Wesley's account, then you're good to go. But so I love the trades. I just want to ask, I love the ideas. I just want to ask, like, some of the trades that you would have had on before, let's just say, that did rally, that did get to their levels and probably paid off, like things like Energy Home Depot. Are you holding here? What is next? Have you gotten out of any of those? What do you think about some of the rotation names that they kind of already went? Like I liked Caterpillar. It came and went 10% back and forth. Do you like rebuying some of those plays when they pull right back into where you would have had them before?
So that's a great question. Funny enough, I think you were the one that was also long Uber, if I'm not correct, or if I am correct, which I also am, which is, again, just how different perspectives reach the same
conclusion. I think we all are.
Right. And so Uber, specifically, if you want to actually share my screen here, a lot of these industrials I have been long over the last few weeks. I've been capitalizing off XLI today, and even some names like Uber right here. Now, Uber, I always look at derivatives. Certain option orders do affect markets, not in a sense that they know more or they have insider information. But remember, guys, we trade market mechanics. There's a reason that at some point in history, GameStop that sells used games and, you know, little figurines, like those little pop figurines, how is that company evaluated more than actual real businesses that are actually profitable? There is mechanics to market. It doesn't care what the fundamentals are. It doesn't care about that. So specifically with this order, certain market making principles, you have to balance certain orders that come in because they're assumed equity. They can exercise, and if that gets into the money, there's consequences. So when I saw this order come in, this was actually a bullish trade on Uber for me because he's essentially building his own support off this order. And so I do expect continued upside across Uber. Even Boeing is one that I'm looking at with earnings on the horizon or just in a few days. So I'm going to continue to look long those industrial names, the ones that are still catching up. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that. But yeah, the Home Depot, I have gotten out of that one. And then energy, I'm still getting into right now. I'm currently long XOP and OIH. So those two are my favorites. But also XLE, again, that's one that I think is just balanced, middle of the road.
Yeah, safe, steady, good to go. And if you like a stock and you don't like it at the 200 period when it's already shown you support there, like Uber, then you don't like it. You know, that's the other thing. Like, you don't really like the company that much if it's showing you there's buyers at that kind of a level on the daily, and you're not that interested in looking at it. But I think that exemplifies Uber right there. But just to correct, I think pretty much everybody on the show owns Uber stock. I do, Sean does, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Brendan does. Like, I think we all like that company. I think so.
I've been in it. I sold that name for we got it in the 30s and sold it in the 60s. Where we don't own it anymore, but it's a good trade. All right, so a name that we bought recently, and I think me and you talked about this last time, Andrew, was Eli Lilly. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, right now, I guess things have changed. If we come over to the daily chart here on my screen there, Ramin, I'll show everybody right here, and then I'm going to ask for your information as well on this, Andrew. Maybe we're wrong on you potentially liking this name, because I'm still in it as well. The way I look at this, we're coming up into an area now that has been resistance, right? I mean, this $800 level, once we broke through it, it just marched up to 960. Now we have Roche and we have some more competition, it looks like, into that GLP-1 area. I don't know about you, but this happens, right? I mean, trees don't continue to grow to the sky. Some of these names have to be taken out of your portfolio. You mentioned sort of getting out of some XLI, so congratulations. That looks like that would have been a good trade as well for you over the last couple of weeks. What are we doing with Eli Lilly? Are you thinking about anything? I know you trade options. To me, it looks like it's extended to the downside. Potentially, maybe some call options right now. Is there anything you're looking at with Eli Lilly down here at 815?
Sure. Specifically with Eli Lilly, I think there's better longs. When I try to look into a trade, since I do trade options, I have to time things. And whether I think it's going to bounce or not, I have to understand, like, is this the right timing? It is actually risk to reward of what I'm actually doing. So specifically with healthcare stocks, Eli Lilly, all these big names, especially the mega caps, I'm going to try to stay away from these big, larger caps, because that is when you reach a top of a market, they actually sell those first. So what I'm actually going to look into now is just those healthcares that haven't moved. Again, the rate sensitive names like biotech, I think those have better risk reward. Even if Eli Lilly does bounce, I don't think that that's going to warrant an opportunity. Like I can't justify why I would be trading that. So therefore, I'm not going to take a trade on it. But I would say look at healthcare. XLV again is just the ETF that I monitor with that, and try to see, is there biotechs? What's leading the markets? And if you expect the markets to kind of chop and consolidate, that's actually when these start to do really well. So with IWM, it's likely being held down by ETF selling everything else. And I think that if we do consolidate into Friday, even into the opening week, like I said, moving after August 1st, then just expect these to get a nice one more leg higher as the markets chop, and those are going to be the big winners.
I have to give you a warning there, Andrew. In the chat, there's people saying that you remind them of a younger me. So I want to apologize to you for that one right there. Because you know what? I don't know if great minds think alike, but I already had this set up, Andrew, and that was XLV. Like, I was going to ask you about Eli Lilly, and then I was going to go right over to you and ask you your opinion, because I know with options, it is interesting to start to trade some of these ETFs. A lot of liquidity, and there it is right there. The number one name in the XLV ETF is Eli Lilly, and then you get Dow, giants, UNH and J&J, Merck, AbbVie reported today as well, Thermo Fisher and Abbott Labs. So I'm with you on that one, man. I really, really like the XLV, and you can see here, as opposed to Eli Lilly, this is straight up at the highs, right? So you don't have that single stock risk. So I'm going to give you a
awesome
for that one.
Oh, Sean, you know what though? I do see the similarities between you and I. I mean, we're
don't start. I try to give you a compliment. Yeah,
I think we're 6'6". Handsome. We can both dunk a basketball, windmill, 360,
something like that. But legitimately, I wear size 13. How about you?
I wear 11s. I did see you got those new Air Maxes, though. I gotta say,
I did. But today we've got these on right now. I don't have the Air Maxes. Wow, you're really paying attention, my guy. Today we've got these on right here. So we'll rock some Jordans today. But just real quick, come over to my screen right now. I just want to talk about Microsoft. We are getting into the downside right now here, down about $1, breaking through VWAP. So I know you don't take trades intraday as obviously as often as I do. I have over like 300 fills today. But this is a key level for me, breaking through VWAP, finding a name that is relatively weak against the market, NASDAQ being up, Microsoft being down. So I hit this to the downside. We scalped it out, as you can see, and now trying to bounce. Is there any sort of situation where maybe you use volume weighted average price at all? Do you look at that on a daily time frame? What are your key indicators, maybe if you're looking to swing trade something?
So specifically with volume-weighted average price, one of the best things I like to do, I don't necessarily use indicators. I think a lot of what I do is based off just eyeballing things, understanding the mechanics behind it, the timing again. So I'm not looking specifically. I'm pretty familiar with what levels I like to see break when I long. But more specifically, something like Microsoft, like you said, it's already weak. It's lagging the markets, and therefore it's going to sell off harder if the markets continue to sell off. Because again, the losers lose and the winners win. That's how it is. But more specifically with indicators, I look at intraday. One of the biggest things, of course, is knowing your time blocks in the market. So market open, you typically get some sort of consolidation or even move. After lunch is typically when you get some sort of follow through. So looking at those time blocks, understanding, well, if we have a strong close in the morning, then I can maybe expect that in that lunch hour time, we can expect some continuation or vice versa. If I want to enter a trade, if it's lunch hour, almost to power hour, just wait towards, you get closer to close, because that's when that volume is going to come in. So more specifically with indicators, I don't use those, but I do like to use that time block of breaking it into 3 segments, if you will, to try to time my trades better.
I like that, because when we've heard this a lot, like a lot of swing traders really love that block in the afternoon. Show me what that money is doing at the end of the day. The confident money is going to be at the end of the day. And I'm impressed to know that you're a dunker. I think that's absolutely amazing. You see, you learn new things. I've known Sean could dunk. We've known each other for years. I've known Sean could throw down for a while now. Yeah. But good to know you're part of the crew.
You were throwing me alley-oops and everything.
Well, that's how we used to roll.
And
I mean, yeah.
I would show it on social media, me dunking, but every time I go to dunk and film it, my phone dies. I think Sean has the same problem.
No, actually, no.
But I don't know. Maybe one day our phone won't die right before we film it, Sean. Maybe.
Maybe. When are you coming,
never
man?
know.
When are you coming up to Toronto?
Yeah, I actually have time this year. So if you guys shoot an invite, I'll be on an airplane and I guess I'll raid your office like Homeland Security.
Invited.
Yeah, it would be
Good
really
luck. Good luck rating. We got security everywhere around here.
Security, really
You
tight.
kidding me?
Really
Shoot.
tight around here.
I can't get through a guy like Neil, but if he's standing at the front door, it's over, man. I'm turning around.
If you can't get through me when I'm literally on crutches right now, Andrew, then you got problems, bro. No, I tore my Achilles, dude. If you can't get through me, you got some serious problems. My daughter can get through me now. It's like whatever, but we'll be fine. In the fall, you can come through.
Oh no, Sean. Do you think my Mustang do you think I would get absolutely emission lawed if I brought my Mustang up?
Look, man, I got a parking spot waiting for you right now. I'm going to paint the name right on it when you get down there. I'm going to put AR right there, like absolutely nobody else park there. I got a spot for you ready to go. Look, open up your calendar for me when we're off the air. August the 2nd, I'm doing a recap show. It's Friday, August the 2nd. I want you to come join me on the market recap show when me and Adara have tons of fun. I'm calling you out right now. August 2nd, you're going to join me on the market recap show. I don't care where you're at.
Write this down. You're not challenging me to a boxing match, right? This is just
boxing match? No, it's market recap show. We'll be having lots of fun on the market, and we'll do a Q&A. How about that? We'll do a Q&A.
Y'all want to box? I'm sure people would watch it. I'm just saying.
People would watch it, yeah, for sure. I mean, we can get it lined up. You on Netflix? Got to see what they're up to.
Sean Tyson.
Pay-per-view.
Something like that. I mean, Jake Paul's blowing my phone up every day. I don't know, ever since he beat that other guy there, Perry. I don't know. I made a little bit of, you ever gamble, by the way? Like, you ever bet on a little bit of sports gambling or anything like that?
Well, some people say I trade, but as far as sports, I don't know. I don't sports gamble. I don't really watch sports other than soccer, and I don't think there's many, parlays or anything with that. So.
Yeah.
No, you can bet on anything.
Time goal, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's lots. You can do any. You can do all kinds of stuff.
All right, leave us with one trade. I mean, last time you and I went back and forth, I thought I was going to be like, oh, in your face, Andrew, because we picked Starbucks, if you remember last time. And then all of a sudden we got that activist information coming through there. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to get this guy back on because we were at $72. We went all the way to 78, 79. I was like, okay, finally, we've outsmarted him. But we have not, because it came all the way back, and we're still in the money on this call, but it's basically where it was. And then you predicted, and we talked about this, XLE. I really like XLE. This is my favorite name in the energy space as well. If we're going to review something in 2 weeks, you just talked about the seasonal tops and bottoms. Are we just going to stay maybe looking at the futures? And I know it's very risky to predict names now, especially into earnings season, but Neil sort of asked you for what you were looking at. Is there anything that you have on right now that you're looking to hold for the next week or 2 weeks or so we can check back with you when you come back?
As far as a week or two, I don't know. As far as that, I actually am going to do my monthly analysis this week. So every month I kind of do a recap of everything that I'm going to trade for that next month. But as far as what I'm looking at is going to be bank shorts XLF. I believe there is a downside. Now that's going to be a next week opportunity entry into this Friday. But more specifically, I think banks are the downside, but also, so XLF again, if you're looking into that, but also one big name that I'm looking at is also going to be that energy again. I still believe there's another leg higher in IWM. Those are my 3 picks. So you guys can, write them on the board. When we come back to the scoreboard, I'm sure we'll reevaluate that. But those are the 3 picks I have.
I might be too old to go to some of the clubs that you go to, but the club that we visit every single day, it's this one right here. It's the Dollar Trade Club. It's the Dollar Trade Club. So right now we have $1 and $2 right now on Microsoft that we put on right before you. We've got $1 on Micron, and we've got $2 on the futures right now. We're holding 3 bangers right now. You've brought me great luck. I don't know if it's luck or what, but we're right here. We're shorting this market. I want to thank you, Andrew Rader. Where can everybody find you?
Well, outside of the boxing ring, WWE Mania, Sean and I, of course, we have side careers in that. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Just look up Raider Trader. Raider is my last name. It is not like I'm a Viking Raider. It's not Tow Mater. I say this every time people ask if I'm from Cars. No, I'm not from Cars. And yeah, I'm not self-taught. So if you guys think I'm a 20-year-old yapping around, I do have very smart and intelligent mentors. I was blessed with that, including these fellows right here, which are also great friends. Involve yourself in the community, guys. It's sad that in this community today, we have a lot of, well, let's just say marketers rather than traders on social media. And guys like these are truly real traders. So stick around with them and you guys will do great.
Appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Andrew Rader, friend of the show, as always. Can't wait to have you in person. It's going to happen someday, my friend. But there he is.
This guy, the real
Take
deal.
a bow.
Yo, bro, nice shorts. All right, let's get this guy out of here. He out of here. See ya, Andrew.
He gone.
He gone there. Next time I'm expecting jean shorts from that guy.
I want the jorts.
Look, the one thing I want to say, yeah, there it is. Yeah, flush those jorts down the toilet. Where's my guy, Randy? The one thing I want to say is it's very important, and I think that what Andrew said was very important, and that is that you have to be real. I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of people on the internet that are going to be like, I just made X amount today, or I shorted this, or I did that, or I did this. I try to every single day let you guys know if I'm red, if I'm green, any individual names. We're always saying that in the chat. Ask us. I mean, it does expose us because we're here every single day showing you every single one of our trades. But that's why I break this one down for you. Why are we short Microsoft? Explained why. Now we're $2 in the money. So can you be. You know, why are we short TQQs? Why are we short Micron? Different things like that. We're short these things for reasons, and we explain them every single day. So I got to tip my cap to, again, one of the realest guys out there. And I just, you know, age ain't nothing but a number, honestly. If you're going to be throw down like that, give us stats, give reasons why, seasonal tops, seasonal bottoms. He could be completely wrong on absolutely everything, but that doesn't matter. He's justified it, believes in it, and let's go. And I don't vet his trades. I have no idea if he's long or short, something like that. It's the reasoning behind it all is what matters. And if you can get behind that, then you can get behind that. And I'm just like, I'll tell you like right now, right? Whatever, we can post whatever we want. There's 2 green traders here today. There's 13 red, 2 green traders. You know, it hasn't been the easiest day trading here. I'm going to be red today, but right now we're putting some damage back on the board and giving those of you, and you know, Sharif mentioned this, when he's not reading the board well enough, he bolts out. He doesn't trade. That's fine. What I do is get back into the seat, start to focus, and make that money back. And right there, now we're $3 in the money on Microsoft, almost $3 in the money on the Qs, and $2 now in the money on Micron. And it all makes sense to me, and that's what that is. It is Andrew Rader. Go check him out. Before we get our next guest on, I'm going to go grab a coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it. The market is now. Hey, look, we're coming to the downside. Remember we said unless AMD breaks that support, we're not going to trade AMD? Well, AMD broke that support. So it's kind of that simple. So AMD, I don't know why, but it wasn't really moving with the market just there. It finally took out the bid at this 140.60 level. So when that happened, we jumped into the short, it tried to pop back up. We're able to get some more scalp into 140, looking for a 139. The reason I hit the flush is everything was coming to the downside. So and we talked about, I only had like AMD and already into Micron off of, and it gets to VWAP and bounces, I'll probably get out of it. But I only had one other place that I liked to short. I didn't really want to short Nvidia. That wasn't going to be the one for me. And we said, or at least I said, if you can play catch up, like at some point, it's like the levee breaking, maybe bad pun because we just had flooding here in Toronto. But when you have something building up like that, if eventually the market drags it down, I'm going to like it. You got this $0.50 pulling in on AMD. Danielle, yes, I'm up today, but I always like to judge. I always like to judge my trading based on the manner in which I'm able to follow my plan, right? So I'm not gonna. It's hard for me when I look at what happened on ARM today to be happy. Like I don't care if I'm one of a couple of green traders today. I had the absolute bottom on ARM, and I got wiggled out of it on size, you know. And then I went in and tried to short it off of this level. I missed all of that to the long side. Like this. Remember, I wasn't even talking or trading ARM this morning, and then there was a point where you would have heard me say, "Oh my goodness, ARM is down 8%. It could hit 10 in SSR bounce." Right? And then the first even dollar level when it went 10% down was $140. Like that's a unique opportunity on ARM. So everything about it is a fail. Actually, this is very similar underneath 150 to what I just said on AMD. Now, the more that I think about this is I'm looking at this chart. If it failed here when I tried to short it, now you're breaking down at the same level off of 150. We had at real trading, we're paying for locates on ARM. I know they're not free for everybody. 12 cents a share. I paid for them. I can short it if I want to, but that's what it's all about. I do believe, I know we're going to have Ryan. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so we do have Ryan Faloona coming on right about now, but I'm going to do some work on this. Live here, Ryan. I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me. First off, I got to know, because I know as a trader, sometimes this is the case. You're not trading something. Somebody brings it up, or you pull up the chart and you're like, oh my goodness, that's an A+ setup, and you wouldn't have seen it if someone didn't point it out to you, or you didn't happen to cross that chart. Because I know that happened to me on ARM today. And I also saw something on level 2 that I've never seen on ARM, where a whale buyer, it looked like someone fat fingered a couple 100,000 shares and drove ARM from 142 to 144, and then they were just right for $10. This morning. I've never seen anything like it. But Ryan Faloona, it's been a ridiculous day today. Bottom to top, V-shape. What are we doing? How was your day? I'm hoping you caught some of that bottom.
Okay, so a couple of things here. So first of all, on that ARM trade, just looking at the chart there where it kind of bottomed and then ripped, I had the exact same thing happen to me on some like really crappy micro cap here. I was day trading POAI here today, and I got almost the exact same thing. I'm trying to play for a 250 break here. We finally get it, but I had already been stopped. I got stopped out flat, and I got stopped out for a very, very small profit when it didn't really work. And then, of course, after I was stopped out, bang, we got that huge move through 250 up to 3. It was a frustrating day. I totally feel your pain on ARM. Now, as far as the regular market goes, when you were talking about like SPY, I was actually completely offsides today. I thought what we might see today, a little bit weaker in the pre-market, we might actually see a pop out of the open and then roll over to the lows and maybe have kind of a repeat of yesterday afternoon. We actually got the opposite of that. We were a little bit down in the pre-market. We dipped and then ripped. No, I was offside for that. But we're always going to take a look at daily candles here, because look at what's happening. SPY is rolling back over. Watch it completely round trip this move. Then I would have just missed an intraday trade there. Was able to hit another quick intraday trade. Wondering if you guys ended up hitting this. We got news on Uber here regarding the Prop 22 decision. Those drivers can still be independent contractors. This actually popped Uber several points intraday here. This was a squawk on our platform. So we're able to scalp this one here today. But no, I missed that market reversal move here today.
It happens. But as you pointed out, if you're live for that news, and again, we have it. I mean, I have Benzing in my ear. You could be really quick to take advantage of what was a pretty sizable, like if you look at when the news came out, it was actually an even dollar break at 67. You're talking about 67, which was already kind of breaking out, and then you get like a $2 move. I traded it after the fact. I will cop to this. I spent a lot of the midday on our couch because my foot is absolutely killing me as they reset my cast. So like I had to take a break. I was kind of even in discomfort now, taking all that kind of stuff. But if you do have your ear to the ground, you have to be quick on this. Like when you get that news, you got a couple of minutes, and then it's breaking, and you don't necessarily want to chase it, right? Like you want to take advantage that you got Benzinga in your ear. Because even now, like Uber is almost back to, I mean, it's flat on the day. Like it tried to bounce off VWAP, a little bit of a bounce off VWAP there, but now you're starting to break down. So you do have to take advantage of those early. And I think it's a great look, and that's why we have Benzing in our ear too.
No, and you're absolutely right about that. Full disclosure here, occasionally when I'm doing broadcasts, like right now, I don't have the squawk on. So if there's any breaking news, I hope you guys can tell me what that is. I don't have it playing at the moment. Here's another really cool thing on Uber, though, if you want to go back to the chart. We actually have two setups here, right? So we do have this little day trade scalp setup if you're listening. But if we flip over to a daily chart here, we've got this piece of news now. We've got Uber really kind of bouncing off of its 200-day. I really want to see where this closes. If this closes above the 200-day with the market giving pretty much everything back here today, I think that's pretty good. We get another close above this 200-day tomorrow. This is for sure triggered a long swing, probably up to 80, I would say. And I mean, we'll see where this ends up going here. But I actually do like this for a swing, pending on where it closes here above the 200-day.
Oh, man. Hey, how's it going, Mr. Faloona? Nice to see you again. Just to let you know, I still have your information in our ear, so we'll break some news if it comes through. I want to thank you for the Benzinga Pro platform. Okay. All right. So we just talked about this with one of our past traders. Is there, and I've talked to you about this before, and maybe you just answered a little bit there with Neil. So you'll trade more equities or more options based, just trying to get an introduction into the style of trading that you have. And will you put on trades and close them within a couple minutes? What is maybe your fastest trade you've made recently? Do you hold things for a while? Do you get in and out on Uber news like that? And is there anything right now that maybe you're holding as we speak?
Okay, so lots of stuff there. Let's try and cover them. Yes, absolutely. My fastest trade, probably a second, right? Looking for like a range break where you get a pop right through that break. It shoots up on momentum, just sell into that strength. One of the things that we've noticed here today, especially after yesterday, the morning crew, we noticed that, hey, you know what? If you get gains in some of these stocks that you're attempting to day trade, don't be afraid to sell into that strength. The strength can evaporate, sometimes really, really quickly. So if you get gains, don't be afraid to take them. There's a time and a place for swinging for the fences. I personally don't think that time is right now. So I'll do very, very quick trades. That Uber trade, I don't even think I was in that for a minute. I think I opened when I heard the news. It pushed up. It looked like the momentum was kind of slowing down for me. I said, I don't even care what it's at. Bang, fill me on the way out. I'm out. I'll move on. Like I said, they'll have another longer term trade here. You had so many other questions. What else did you want me to cover? You asked me about if there's stuff I'm holding. You want me to talk about a couple of things like that?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know, like, and if you come over to my screen right now, we did this with Rader Trader just a couple minutes ago. I saw Microsoft being down against the NASDAQ today. So the NASDAQ right now only down 0.4 when Microsoft is down 1.9. So once we retook VWAP, that's where I hit this short. And now, of course, and welcome to the club, my friend. We are now $1, $2, $3 now in the money on this one. We're also $3 in the money on our triple Q short. TQQ short, and now $2 on Micron. What I'm looking for is there anything right now that you're holding currently, maybe looking to close near the end of the day? Whatever you're doing, what are you looking at right now? Is there anything you currently have on, and maybe where would your targets or stops be?
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about that. I have no day trades open. I'm completely flat in anything that I was attempting to day trade, but I actually did take kind of a risky stock here for a potential swing. That's going to be ticker IREN here, which is Iris Energy. This is a Bitcoin miner. This has made a really kind of a big move recently. We've retraced a lot of that move. If I turn my drawings back on here, you can see we're actually between two different fib levels here on this retracement. This is generally a pretty good bounce zone. So I actually tried to catch the falling knife here. I took a little bit of this. I've added to it one time. I'll add to it probably one more time before the close here, depending on how it performs. And really what I'm looking for is going to be a recapture of that 50-day. So if I turn off those drawings here again, you can see if we recapture this 50-day in the next 1 or 2 days, I like this thing to pop back into double digits. Look for 12, maybe 12 to 14 as a potential sell spot there. So this looking for a pop back here. High risk though, man, high risk. I totally admit it. We are trying to catch a falling knife.
Right.
As far as a stop goes, I would imagine if we, whatever low we put in here today, if we are weak out of the gate tomorrow, or if we pop up and then take that low out tomorrow, I'll be out and lick my wounds and move on to the next. But there's a Bitcoin conference coming up, I believe on the 27th. So I want to be in IREN for that.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, play some of the momentum as crypto back into play.
Yeah.
Any thought on Ethereum there? Ethereum's kind of bounced around a little bit. I see ETH right now back to 3,100. And especially with the release now of some of those ETFs, ETHE is now off the OTC markets, now just ETH. So, are you playing off any of that kind of news as well? I mean, we did have, I guess, the news event right there with Ethereum. Anything interesting as far as that is concerned, or you're just playing that one IREN?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of boring when it comes to some of these Bitcoin names because I'm just a hodler. But if you forced me into looking at a trade, this is kind of what I'm looking at here on Ethereum. I'd kind of be just sitting in no man's land right now until we either break out of this trend line that's currently being formed. As long as we stay above that 200-day, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Right.
I still have my Ethereum. I love reading all the news about Ethereum. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, the 3 coins that I hold, I'm going to hold those. Wake me up in 10 years. We'll see where we're at.
Okay, I like that.
There you go. You had me at trend line, Ryan.
True hawk.
I started the very first thing I ever put on a chart, which early on was much to my chagrin, but eventually a little bit better, was putting on trend lines. And I think, it gives you a good idea of when nothing, now something's happening on the stock, which I absolutely love. But I want to let everybody know that we love having you on, obviously. But everybody, if you like Ryan, he's going to be joining me tomorrow on the Aftermarket show. So we're going to get to talk some of these ideas. I want to be able to check back in because when we talk about high-risk names and names that fly, you're trading them. And oftentimes, we're not necessarily in them. So if you guys are interested to get some ideas, maybe on these like lower float, sometimes high short float names when they're going, we'll check back and we can talk about anything. If you have questions, let us know. But before we kind of move on, I was just sort of curious about, Iran, you were mentioning Fibonacci's there a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I know for like some people, you use them, maybe you don't use them. I found that I've never really had any success with them, right? So my question to you would be, when you're looking at any kind of an indicator, whether it's fibs, maybe even just using trend lines, we like VWAP, those kinds of things. Like how long is your process for, let's say, back testing, forward testing, before you're like, okay, now I'm using this indicator, I like it. Is it still ongoing? Just out of curiosity.
So a couple of things there. So number one, no indicator is foolproof. All right. That's the thing that you need to learn like right at the beginning. If you're relying on just a single or a couple of set of indicators, there are going to be some times where something happens and it doesn't really make any sense. So, and the other thing here is news is going to trump any indicator. I don't care what your indicators say. If you have a piece of news comes out that materially affects the business of that stock, it does not care about what you've drawn on your chart. So I take it with a grain of salt. When it comes to indicators and when it comes to key levels and when it comes to drawings like Fibonacci retracements or Fibonacci extensions, one of the things that I like to do the most is marrying data points together. So if, for example, if you look at the screen right now, there was a point here where we were almost at a Fibonacci level and we were right by that 50-day moving average. This to me is more notable than where we're at here. But again, high risk trade. I don't have as much data as I want to make a really smart trade. I'm trying to catch something on momentum. I'm trying to be a hero here, albeit doing it with reduced size so that my risk parameters aren't all out of whack here. So I always try to marry different indicators or different drawings together. I just feel like I'm going to get a better picture there. Now, as far as Fibonacci's specifically, this is my favorite application. My favorite application is a Fibonacci retracement after an outside move. All I did to plot this drawing here was I drew it from the low to the high, and I used my cursor way out here so I can have the candles fill that drawing in as days go by. Again, doesn't work all of the time, but it gives me a really good idea of multiple levels, and that tells me if my thesis is on or if I just really need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, that's what it's all about there.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that as well. I mean,
Mr. Ryan Faloona, it's now past 3 o'clock. We want to appreciate and thank you so much for coming through again. And of course, we always talk about the Benzinga Pro platform. And I see that you're chomping at the bit for one more thing. So I was going to ask you if you had anything else to say. So what's going on? You're going to join Neil tomorrow. Let me know what you want to talk about right now.
Okay, what I want to talk about right now is I just want to make sure anyone that took that Home Depot trade that we took, giddy up. This was awesome. Inverse head and shoulders right through the 346 trigger. This would have been an awesome options trade right here. Hope you were able to take advantage of that. The other thing that I wanted to ask you specifically, Sean, when are you going to ask me about sports betting? When are we going to get into the conversations about sports betting and all that stuff? I do that all the time. I can't wait for football to start.
I mean, I'm going to start talking about it once I get a Benzinga Toronto shirt. I was thinking about once we do that. But no.
If we get a golf shirt, I'll do.
Yeah. We're both wearing golf shirts today. I'm a big guy. So I made $50 on Jake Paul over the weekend there. I thought that was a little fun doing that. But yeah, football, we're all about that. And actually, on the recap show, I used to do every day. Now we've handed some off here to Neil. I make a pick. every Monday night.
Okay.
And then Neil will do that as well for Thursday night football as well. So you'll be joining us then, and we'll talk about some picks. So I guess we've talked about this. Your team is the Bears, right?
My team is the Bears.
So what is their over-under wins for the year? If you looked it up, is it 9.5, 8.5?
Probably 8.5.
Yeah, I think it's 8.5. I think the books have it at 8.5.
We going over that or what? What do you think?
I personally think that they're probably going to finish around 10. My goal for this year is for them to be at minimum flirting for a playoff spot.
Right.
The reality is that the NFC North isn't going to be the best division in football. You can take that to the bank right now. So if they don't make the playoffs in the first year with Caleb Williams, I'm not going to lose my mind about that.
Right.
But I do want them to show that they're on the way up. All of the reports that I hear from Hallis Hall is that this is a different organization now. I watched enough Caleb Williams highlights. The kid is special. He's got a live arm. It should be awesome. This is a city that's never really had a great quarterback, so I'm ready for that. But my hope is at the end of the season here, they're competing for a playoff spot, realistically, up until the very last week of the season, which I believe is against your Packers.
Yeah, I agree with you. That
I smell a bet.
Just so strong.
Oh, there's going to be multiple bets.
My first thought was I kind of in that division I like the under, and I'll tell you right now, if you want to, I don't want to hold you to this because it is what it is. But if the Bears go over 8.5 and that's the actual line, I will do the show with we'll try to figure a way to have a Bears logo on my face. And then you come on, but you'd have to if they go under, I want to see a Buffalo Bills logo when you come on the show.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. We've got to wait till the season to happen.
I accept your bet in principle. Let me see if there's some way I can orchestrate getting that Bills decal or something that I can put on my face in order to live up to my end of the bet.
Oh, no, we'll send it to you. You don't have to worry about that. You will get a Bills decal.
We got all season to make sure it can work.
Not a problem at all. We'll be able to.
We don't have to stipulate anything.
Okay,
all right.
Cool. You know what? Make it a bet. I'm in.
There we go.
Bills, too. I like Josh Allen. I think he's great. I hope the Bills have a good season.
Let's go.
Yeah, the same thing, too. All right, thank you so much, everyone in the chat. Really
Thanks,
loving
Ryan.
you. Ryan Faloona from Benzinga. Thank you so much for joining us one more time. We can't wait for next time. And then it's tomorrow with Neil. So that's a lot of fun. Thank you, Ryan. Have a good one. That is Trader Talk conclusion.
Take care.
Right now. Take care. There it is.
Thank you so much.
All right, another one.
Great, dude.
Why are these bears on top of each other right now? I don't know what's going on with that one. Is that Randy again doing that? I'm just noticing.
Of course it was Randy.
What the hell is
Why
going on?
how are we even asking if it was a Randy? We know it was.
No, I'm punch drunk right now over some of the trades that we have on right here, right now. We just made back 20%, 30% of our day just since we've been on the air with you guys, man. We had Micron short right now that we had talked about and put that on. Could have reloaded it right there, right when we came on the air. So those have been some good outs for us. This name, this hasn't been on the show, but we've been holding it and definitely making some nice headways here with our net coming through 65.20 again. And like Andrew said, man, the proof is in the pudding right here. These are shorts, these are outs, planting purple flowers. Everybody has their own technique, and then we're trying to hold something for the end of the day. We'll try to do better holding on to that. We wish we had held on to some of our Apple longs from down here, and that was a good one. And then we started shorting, and eventually, again, just made a mess of some of these shorts up here. But if you look, this is why I trade so rapidly. It's there's so many outs here, and that I find that when you're trading bigger share sizes, that's probably the right thing to do initially. And we did hear from Ryan right there talking about, he will hit trades, boom, boom, in, out. And you'll often see me do that where I'm in something, I'm like, holy crap, that's 20 cents in the money. And then we just start getting some out. So again, rapid fire there on the trading. Thank you to both Andrew Rader and of course, wow, the market is just this TQ's trade seems to be getting spicy as well. I might even add to this position if we break 64.50. I mean, back into the downside. This NASDAQ is flat on the day. I don't know if you guys thought I was joking, but when we were it's going to get back to positive, I'm like, yes, it is getting back to positive. It went up almost 1% right there to the highs, and now fading completely all the way back. But the good thing about trading is if you closed your eyes and just woke up right now, you are right at the open. This is the open right here. This volume that
funny how that works sometimes.
We're right here. We're right here, right where volume weighted average price is. We're right at the open spot again. So, just pay attention to that. Make sure that you guys, no matter what you're trading, you're definitely aware of the risks involved with scalping, and you're obviously aware of the risks involved in holding things longer term, because sometimes you can get washed out at the bottom or at the top. But at the end of the day, have your targets, have your spots, and
know that IREN isn't Apple. When you're like, that's what I love about the self.
How about Uber?
The awareness, like that's the thing. Like when Ryan's talking about that IREN, he knows the kind of stock he's in. If it doesn't work right away, those things can double up. They can go 50% in a couple of days. But if immediately stops working, you don't want to be a bag holder, and that's exactly what you heard. He's going to check back in. It could not even. It could not break support the next day, and there's still a reason he would want to get out if it doesn't do what he wants to do. Like that's knowing where it's going to be. And then one more point. If the market is right back where it started, have a look at things that are above that open, that are still higher, and the things that are still lower. Because I'm going to talk. I got out AMD broke down. And I got out of it, but Micron is hanging around VWAP as the market continues to go down. And this is a name that, while down 2%. From the open, it is up. And so if it doesn't, if we come to the chart for a second, Ramin, like if it doesn't break out of this to the downside, then I'm out. If it breaks this consolidation up, I'm out. If it breaks it down, I'm looking for a place to add underneath VWAP, because the opening range support was right here, 107.5. And if it can break down from there, I think there's going to be another opportunity to go short. So that's currently what I'm looking at. I do have some eyeballs as well on Nvidia. Nvidia is just holding. It's not even at VWAP. It's just consolidating, and again, still higher. Not up on the day, but if you look at most of this session, it's still above the afternoon support levels. If we lose that, I think you're running the risk of a big push down. It's a monstrous gap that this stock had. So the eyeballs are going to be on Nvidia, obviously Micron, AMD if we get a chance to pop back into VWAP. I think I'm going to like that. This might not be a day where, if you like the short, that you're going to get shorts back into VWAP. I feel like there's a lot of strong names that are above it trying to bounce, and the ones that have already given up, I'm not seeing many that are setting up for great retests. AMD's still in the pocket, that's why I go to that. But like, look at Apple. Like Apple trending down but holding above VWAP. For now, ain't over just yet.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to have to start setting that up. I mean, we talk about having positive communities, positive relationships with other traders and things like that, and hopefully positive relationships with your significant other as well. We hit this pretty good, man. We put on more shares. This probably could have been notionally. Obviously, my meta trades notionally were the most that we've held on the show. This could have been the second one right there with Microsoft, simply because it's a $420 name coming through. But the amount of shares that we had on here makes this well worth it. Shooting up now to PL number 2, just behind. Actually, that's PL3. I forgot what we were doing here on the TQs. But Nvidia is going to be the number 1 stock here today, the triple Q. And remember, this is just kind of par for the course, man. It's like when you trade, I have all the top losers as well. So it's not like that. I'm just going over some of the winning trades that we've had on here today. Losing trades for us, Meta. I mean, we talked about that. That's really disappointing, because what we had put down and what we had sort of based out for you guys today was this Meta trade. And we talked, there it is. We talked about what we wanted to do here with Meta today. We rejected that 50-period moving average. We liked a 451 bounce right there. We talked about that. It did work out, but it didn't work out early, and that's the problem. And I think it's all about timing. Everything, Bitcoin, anything, that IREN stock, whatever you're trading, it's all about timing. And here it came right into here. So we wound up losing that. That was a decent hit there when we broke through 450. And then I think we say this every day, but let's just learn from our mistakes. Again, it's how we've been able to be here for 24 years, and near the top. So this 444 coming into here, we had no reasons to be buying these down here. Okay, no reason at all to be buying here. So when we got stopped out there, we kind of deserved it. Like, it broke 445. I had no reason to buy these 445s or anything like that. We should have ended the trade right there. We got back into the short, made some money, got back into the short. I think that one was about flat. So we did make a little bit back there on Meta, but at the end of the day, no reason to be in these trades. So that's why I'm going to flush myself down the toilet and just, tell you that was a mistake to be in that trade. And it's easy to look back at it hindsight. We had Obi here yesterday. Again, another, hashtag real trading again with Obi. The thing is like, we talked about that yesterday. He knew he had to get out of that trade, right? This for me is a little different. I really get that spidey sense, and I'm telling you this honestly. And I talked about this with Obi yesterday, and when he was talking to me about his trades, I was starting to get those goosebumps because I feel the same way. I know when I'm spinning basically out of control. It's like Dak Prescott just throwing interception after interception. He knows they should run the ball. I'm even throwing shade at Dak when Sharif's not even here. And like, you know that you should be running the ball.
It's easy to do.
It's easy to do, yeah. I mean, especially when, they are my second favorite team because they allowed the youngest team in NFL history to ever win a playoff game.
This is why Ryan's going to lose that bet, because the Packers.
The thing is, he also has
the Packers are sick.
Detroit.
The Detroit Lions
the
are
NFC Finals.
Like, are you kidding me?
Green Bay should have been in, but
and they were a rookie quarterback. No. If they're in a different vision, maybe like it's different. It's different. But the spider sense thing.
Yeah, what I was getting at was like you sort of know when you're I know anyways, and I think you probably.
Oh, I know.
We know when we're spiraling out of control, and I just noticed that like once, and I showed Obi. I actually brought out. And again, you want to talk to somebody about being real? I sat here yesterday, opened up the broker statement, and showed Obi my month. And I showed him that I got hit. I think it was like July 4th or whatever it was. Well, July 4th would have been closed, but happy
usually
day. Independence. As we go through, we had our best day, followed by our worst day, followed by another good day right after that. So I showed him that on there, and it was like, dude, no matter what, we can always see tomorrow, and there's always another day, and you got to stay with what you're doing and understand if you can figure out where you made the mistakes, then you can correct them. And I think that is the most important thing. And before I throw it over to Neil, just real quick, my stop for Microsoft was 424 and change. We talked about that. So obviously, with this being a $3 winner, we are giving ourselves like right there, VWAP, we're giving ourselves 50 cents. So 6-1 on risk to reward. Fine. We were able to hold it. Fine. We talked about that. We held 50% of it, got the majority out right now. Now we're holding a small piece, 10% left of this trade, maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to get out if we break the 50 period. We have to follow our rules. Ryan was talking about using Fibonacci's. I want to get into that play as well. So right now, right there, when Sharif was mentioning Fibonacci's, I just got to do more work on them. 421.60s right here is going to be my out. I have a hard time like saying when this comes in, it's like I do that to those trigger fingers. It's like boom, boom, boom. I got to get out as fast as possible. All right, right there, 421.60. Right now is $1 away for us. Let's see if this one can print a little bit lower. It's been a great afternoon, and we're battling back from what was a couple disastrous longs that we had earlier.
That's what you got to do, and it's like, to that fog and like the spiral. The first thing is, if you're a trader, accept that it's going to happen to you. Like, you will get in that zone where you're numb to making a rational decision, and you're just not doing it because you're just everything's sort of happening around you. If you've played sports, you've probably been in that situation as well. Sometimes that's a really good thing when you're not thinking in sports. I don't think that's the same thing in trading most of the time, especially if it's in a loser, but it is what it is. Now, there's this serve stock is going. I'm going to presume there's nothing new on it because I have not heard nor seen anything new on serve, but the shorts are being served today. 42% upside. I'm just going to show you the daily chart so you know what happened like just days ago when it was at this level and tried to get the 14. It was a pretty precipitous drop. It was an orderly move to the downside, but it was a breakout above $13 that failed exactly at 14 and then trended down for the rest of the day. And what I like about this is look where it pulled right back into prior day afternoon support, immediate higher low, double bottom breakout. There hasn't been a red candle on a 15-minute chart since 12:45. So to say this is moving is a bit of an understatement. Obviously, you guys can see that's happening, but just that 13, if it fails a 13 break again, just understand that would be it repeating exactly what happened before. My focus is going back over to the potential. Oh, never mind. I mean, AMD had 2 green candles in a row. I started thinking it's going to VWAP. It's going to take more than that. Nvidia or AMD, so I don't think we're going to get that opportunity. There's only 40 minutes left in the session. Nvidia's kind of stopped moving as well. It's in a consolidative phase. I was just looking over some of the other names that might be in play, like Amazon. Amazon did a breakdown. So remember, you're looking for breakdowns at supports. Like Amazon did one right here. I'm like, okay, we're going into VWAP, immediately found support and then broke the high. It's like, okay, crap, Amazon's still strong. Maybe I was biased because I was liking Amazon long scalp. Hey, that's good. Long lose. Long scalp. Hey, long lose on Amazon. The problem is I liked it a heck of a lot more at 180 than I liked it at 181, which, that's to my chagrin because I ended up down on the stock. The V-shaped recoveries were wild. This could also lose support here at 181. But you need to see it move at this point. Like, I don't want to be diddling in this. It breaks down, it breaks out. That's what I want to look for here on anything, like whether it's Amazon, whether it's this serve stock. Tesla is crashing. Is it? No, Tesla pulling into VWAP, though. That's for sure. 222 here for Tesla, just bouncing off VWAP as we speak. Like if Tesla loses VWAP and breaks down at 222, that was where, right at 935 or so, kind of ran into that level pretty strongly, eventually came out the other side as a short. So if Tesla loses VWAP, that could be another trade potentially for a short here. We're just hanging on to Micron. I got eyes on AMD, going to short a pop there. A breakdown on Tesla looks like it would set up as well.
All right, bang. Right there, the chicken dinner winner has now ended right there for Microsoft, and it was a good one. As it just comes out right there, right where we said we would get it out, so 421.60 again. That was a good one. That was a good trade coming through there, breaking through VWAP, and I think that's what you want to look for. So we always say things like on to the next, right? I mean, I think that's something that's important to understand is that there's always going to be other trades that are able to sort of appear. Sometimes out of the blue, sometimes they'll just show up on the chat, or you'll be able to find your scanners. Make sure you do get that Benzinga Pro platform for any information that hits you, or for any scanners as well. There's a scanner program on there. You could also use our platform has scanners as well here, the P Pro 8 at Real Trading, and then trade ideas
and everything
as well. Trader. I mean, there's some
unusual options activity they've got over there. Like you can set up movers, like economic count. Like it's.
You just got to know. To me, it doesn't really matter the platform or what you're using. It's just understand how to use it. It's like you have to know what you're looking for, what kind of news story you're looking for, where your ins are, where your outs are, and when you're supposed to throw to a Dara like now.
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Somer?
Yeah, Midsomar. Midsommar. So,
all right.
Okay.
He does like that stuff. That's a Netflix one or?
It's on
Whatever
Amazon Prime. So a couple of things. One, there's the break back upside here on Micron. So it breaks the other direction off of this consolidation. So I'm now out of that. But if we're coming back up, I mean, AMD could easily get to VWAP. So if we get back into like 110, no problem with that. And so on this Midsommar movie, I will tell you this. I love horror films. I love thrillers. I've watched a lot of them. I don't know the last time I watched something where that ish was just disturbing. Like, it's not like it was overly scary or gruesome or anything like that. It was just really freaking disturbing. I can't even tell a lie. The only way to describe watching that is as a viewer, you're like the frog that's in a slowly boiling pot. Like, you're watching it, it's like, okay, this is interesting. And somehow, at some point, you're just like, how did we get here? And what exactly am I watching right now? Why is this freaking me out? It's fantastic pacing. They did a really good job. I forget the name of the actress now, who is Florence Pugh, who is, my goodness, she is an unbelievable actress. The first thing I saw her in years ago, I was like, yeah, she's going to be a blow up. But if you like it, then if you like horror movies, trust me, Sean,
it made
she's
people
gonna love
laugh
that
in the
one.
chat apparently, but I don't know. We'll see.
No, because it's not normal.
Okay.
Like it's not like Friday the 13th, man. It's not like The Shine. It's just a very disturbing movie. Some people might like laugh at it, at the ridiculousness. Some people might be like, this is just way out there. I thought the execution was good, but VWAP, AMD, soon. It's about 30 cents away. Well, 50 cents away. We're about to get into it.
Yeah, I want to see that long legs as well, but we didn't. We saw Despicable Me 4 instead. You can't see that with your kids. All right, so
Can't-
you're looking at
guess we
AMD.
can.
That's good. For a potential break, it's 324. I'm not scared of time right now. Father time, yes, but time in the market, no. There's still lots of time coming through right now. 25 minutes until we get the imbalances plus. So I'm not worried about anything. We could still obviously get that fade coming through. But as this market retraces back up, we have gotten a little lazy here because we have 10% of both Micron and even less of the Qs. We have less of the Qs. And we should have got out at VWAP. And we talked about breaking through VWAP, trying to get out. So that was VWAP and the 50-period moving average. That was silly not to get some out on that. So I am going to put a bid now. Even if the market continues to crank lower, we have to follow our rules, and we did miss that one. So I'm not going to cry for spilled milk. It's not a huge position, but at the same time, would have liked to have traded that a little bit better. That's the futures right there. I'm going to stay away from them now. And the reason why I like the short up there, again, we're short 67s. It just, you're going to look at the daily chart. If you kind of got to pull it back. There wasn't much here at all. I was just trying to play off. And again, we talk about trading different times of day. Like yesterday in the afternoon, this was kind of the high. So we were just playing off that high again. Plus the 20-period chart right here, we did come in right there into the 50-period moving average. So that was something that was a short indicator for me as well. So, you know, we didn't break the 50-period at all, and then we came in on it, and that was it right there. So that's the reason for the short, plus we found another area. So look, sometimes that, and again, Ryan nailed it. And then this is why we try to have, you know, great guests on that will tell you the truth, you know, and it's like, not every indicator, not any indicator, there ain't one indicator that will be perfect every time. And there's not even one indicator that will tell you long or short. It's how you read it. Some people will tell you the other way around. You know, like what I did on Microsoft right here. Normally, VWAP could be as a position of strength, like it's pulling back into VWAP. That could be a bouncing spot back there. But I used a couple indicators, just what we were doing on the day as an indicator. You know, I wanted Microsoft short, not long. Another stock coming into VWAP that I might like long would have been the other way around for a trade. All right. And you want an example of that? Here's a stock that I like long, Roblox.
Oh, I was going to guess something. Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm just using this as an example today.
I was going to guess Shopify, but
Yeah, we can look at that too. I mean, here's Shopify. Look at Roblox coming in right into VWAP. That's a long. Now, obviously cherry picking because you're looking at the chart and looking like that, but I'm just using an example here of because trust me, I know where Roblox is trading. Roblox is a name that is strong today, so you want to play retracements into VWAP. Microsoft is a stock that's on the NASDAQ. That was weak today. Come on, Microsoft. So we wanted to play a smash through VWAP. You know, sometimes it will work, boom, boom. You know, sometimes it'll work for an upside move as well. But we played that and it worked. So you got to celebrate, you know, and take profit when you make winning trades because everybody knows you make enough losing trades.
Yes.
So, you know, that was something right there for MSFT. And look at that out. I mean, again, following the rules. There's the 50 period. We were heaviest on Microsoft. We told you about that. Failed at getting out of Micron and the TQs, but we get out of Microsoft there as our heaviest position. And, you know, let's wait to see if we can reshort some Micron. But I don't know, maybe the 200 period. It would be Nvidia if I was going to pick on anything right now because that is a nice move to the upside and the #1 stock for me today. So thinking about reshorting some Nvidia love up here right now. Maybe looking at BABA, maybe looking at Uber, which Uber was moving around today.
it's Uber kind of stopped moving. But I only said shop because I had looked at the shop chart and knew that it was strong, the V shape and higher than those lows. I'm like, oh, there's like 3 stocks. Actually, I was thinking of 2. You said, I thought you were going to say Shopify or Palantir, but then you said the other one, which is Roblox.
Palantir.
No, Palantir fits exactly the same bill today, right? Like there's V-shaped recoveries. This is not a V-shaped recovery. It's like whatever. That's actually a pretty distinct W into a breakout. Now that I look at it, I'm not a chart market technician, but like once top, higher low actually, and then a very absurdly clean breakout at 26.18. Wow, that is a very key. Look at the top. Pre-market,
Nvidia's going
pre-market, top, and then it break. Wow, that was an unbelievable breakout on Palantir. Here, and you could have taken this at like 10.25. Never looked at the stock, but upward trending is what I was getting at. So you look for pullback into previous support levels. Nvidia's going ham. Maybe if it's going too ham.
It kind of is.
All right, so AMD.
Going like kind of like almost like bacon hamish, but I don't know.
Yo.
All right,
oh my God, we were out of bacon yesterday. Oh, it was the worst.
Yeah, running out of bacon is very.
My brother made pancakes and we were out of bacon.
Oh man, your brother, what the hell? Oh, I saw that. Yeah, actually, I saw that.
Yo, Len can throw down in the kitchen,
Yeah,
bro.
you can throw down. You can make bacon and pancakes.
No, I mean just
I know he's
So
talented.
he makes the best like scrambled eggs. Like I don't know, like obviously everyone has their own
Or
thing.
What does he put in there? What,
He does like seasoned salt and
Okay.
I don't know. He'll eat whatever vegetables you have around.
Right, like an
Like
omelet.
he'll kind of mix in, but it's just freaking delicious, man. I'm not much of a cook myself, but you know, he ain't playing.
Yeah.
We had no bacon. I was kind of bummed
Where's
with
the
that.
bacon? All right, so all right, so I was just saying that Nvidia just sort of started to go pretty hard there. It did. I mean, I don't know. It just went bang, bang all the way down. So I'm going to respect this 200 period moving average. Like I said, it's going to be my #1 name today. We'll throw some back if we lose. You know, a 115.25 is going to be my out. Let's just see what this wants to do. We are up on the day. Nvidia was down 7% earlier today. So, yeah, we had that short. We've been feeling short. Let's go back into the short until it's wrong. And I feel like that little top wick right there, I don't know, man. I got this Benzinga in my ear. I didn't hear anything there. I'm not really hearing anything right now. So we respected that once, twice. That's nice. So let's see if it happens one more time here. Breaking through 25s, and we'll be able to get out of this one well in the risk to reward. It's 20 cents in the money. Our shutdown on this one would be a hit of about 30 cents. So we'll see if it continues to move down. I do have a bid here in the 50s. Hopefully we'll be able to execute that. And you know what? Let's just take it right there. We'll bid a 59 as it just came back in and stopped again. Hopefully we'll fill, hopefully we'll fill that 59er coming up real quick right now and be able to hit that. But nice trade so far for Nvidia. Although we could have just had that 30 cents and we were bidding a little low. So let's see if it comes back in. I like this trade for a minute. Let's see if it hits.
Speaking of, like at the same moment, so VWAP didn't come in AMD, but the place that it broke down for the first trade was right here. It was this 140.75. It broke down, broke support, shorted. And they came right back to the same level. 140.79 ended up being the high. So I grabbed it on the lower high. It just bounced off 140. You can see this pretty clean. Look at the wick on that chart. That is a snap right back up. If it breaks here, I think it's probably getting into VWAP. It's past 330. So if we hold this consolidation, I want to short back in and play back into 140. If we don't, then I think we hold to that low. As far as the inbound, what is AVTR? Probably a penny stock. I don't know what AVTR is. I'll look it up in a second. 18 million to sell. It's probably some index action. Nothing really that's going to be that interesting. Well, that end thing is there for this morning on Palantir, the neutral. But TOEFL, that's not that interesting. BAC, early look, 600,000. So whatever AVTR is, and I don't know if it's a penny stock, but if I see 18 million to sell and I have no idea what the company is, I'm generally thinking it's an index action or a penny stock. So it's a $23 stock. There's probably an index action here, and it is moving around quite a bit. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to go check to see if there isn't something going on with this on one of the indexes, because that's a bit weird. It's done 24 million on the day. It's already got 20 million total interest in the closing auction, and 18 million of it's to the sell side.
So someone earlier asked about how I said that we only had 2 positive traders, all the rest shut down. And actually, here at Real Trading, of course, you're trading firm capital, so you do have shutdown limits and things like that. And if I kind of had one, I might be shut down as well. But yeah, today is not a great day. There are a few traders shut down, and I feel like the idea there is simple. Those longs just failed early, and I already sat here, and I'm lucky enough to have been here so long, and quite frankly, don't really have a shutdown. But at the end of the day, this Google trade, I think would have shut down the best of traders. I feel like this Meta trade, unless you're not looking long, and by the way, there's Nvidia, let's go. We reloaded that, and now it's starting to go to the downside again right now. Some of these trades that even I've had on, and again, it's going to be risk dependent, right? I mean, you don't have to be shut down. You just got to trade with better risk. But so many names today broke a lot more than I thought they would have as well. So today is a day, in my opinion, very tough to trade. We talked about that. And even yesterday, often when the market does these dramatic moves like this back and forth, it is very, very tough to be able to stay above water sometimes because, you know, you get influenced. You're like, okay, here's the move. All right, pop back to VWAP, I'm short. Pop back to the 200, I'm short. Like, these are all shut down trades. They're all trades that you should take back into VWAP, weak name, but they just kept on going, right? And by the way, there it is right there. Let's go. We take that TQQ trade out. We got it, man. We got it good. Good trade right there to grab that out. So we're happy with that one. Nice out on the TQs. We're playing NVIDIA now. Oh, and by the way, ho-hum, there goes NVIDIA. Let's go. Thank you to Sebastian in the chat right there. And this is what we're talking about. Remember I told you the different mentalities. You got to have it up here, right? We said that and again, just trade how you feel. We said that we know when we're going into a death spiral, and we heard Sharif say that earlier. He was a trade away from being shut down today, and he stopped trading. He wasn't feeling it. He stopped trading. We, you know, lowered some of our shares, no doubt about that, but we still had confidence, still try to get back into that game, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with slowing down your roll, going into TMS, or like a sim mode was what it would be here. You know, slowing down, lowering shares, something like that, always possible to do, especially if you're kind of feeling some kind of ways. So right there, we are now in the money now, 25 cents. We are just in the money 50. We'll put a bid down here, see if we can capture some of that love there on NVIDIA. Here it comes in, man. Let's go. We're going to bid 114.44. That move down was 36s. Let's see if we can get something like that, a little bit of a flush here to end the day. Man, that TQQs trade, we talked about the damage that's been put on the futures. I really like trading that, and I got to give a big shout out to Brankles there in the back. He told me, dude, go to the futures. He's been seeing the numbers that have been being put up. So thank you, Brankles, for that one. You are leading this branch into successful territory. Look at NVIDIA right now. There it goes again. Nice move back in. It comes the 200 period. Your boys got it. That's the trade for me. Micron, we are also bidding on this one, 108.33s. If we can get anywhere back near that level, we'll take that. Micron, a good name for us. Wow, we just made back a lot this afternoon, and thank you for joining, and thank you for putting up with me.
That's one of these things, man. Like today, this afternoon's been a much better one. When you said this morning had umpteen ways that it could have screwed you, I can tell you right now, on the our first trading floor, I remember we had two traders that were really great trend traders. They'd be like, they would join in and just hammer it. A morning like this morning, it is very hard not to elevate. You could be crushing because people are throwing. They're like, oh, I'm up. They're going to throw more at that short when it came in. I look at that chart on Nvidia, on ARM, Meta did it. Just everything did it. But you had to be with it. And again, this afternoon has been a completely different story because we're actually making lower highs and lower lows. But I was back into AMD. We only have about 12 minutes until we get the imbalances. And it came right back into that 14.8, wicked the top, got me out, but then it wicked the top, so it got me back in when it did that. And it's trying to press through the same level here. So this 50-cent range, press through to get the 140 even. If it does that, I think we have a chance to get somewhere in that 139 range. That I can tell you this AVTR, it's supposed to be an addition today. So it's going to come out like a gigantic sell. Just note that it is supposed to be in addition to the S&P 400. So, I'll probably be looking for some kind of a reversion trade. If it does come out a sell, I'll be looking for some spot maybe to catch like a long when it pairs off. If it does tank for some reason, that AVTR. But everyone do your own thing. Just understand that it's supposed to be an addition. That is a gigantic sell number for a stock that has done 25 million. It's got an 18 million sell on it. So it's going to be on my radar. I'll have it up just in case there is a good trade. I don't think Micron's getting to 110 again, so that might not be an opportunity. I think the reload would have been at the 109, I suppose. We still have some time that there could be a trade. I've got Micron, AMD, and that AVTR stock currently up right now that I'll be looking for. Micron has an opportunity to maybe pop and fade. 109 would be a good one. And then AMD, as long as we hold that 80 level, I'm going to like it. I know I mentioned that Serve stock. Whoops. Why did I go to London? That Serve stock, I was looking at 13, remember, as a break. Turns out, didn't want to get to 13. It's already curling off 1240. Just did a second hammer candle to the downside. So this is one I wouldn't be touching. You know, the way I saw it, it failed, broke 13 very cleanly.
Wow.
If it had done the same thing, that's where I would have gone right back to. I would have gone over to the short. I paid for locates; they were cheap, but it's not going to get there.
All right, so I mean, again, like here we go again. It's happening again. It's Nvidia, and it is trying to be that dollar club member that we all love one more time. So here we go. It just touched 114. I'm gonna put some bids here. We did this yesterday. I forget, was it Nvidia maybe? Where we just sat in a bunch of consolidated areas, right? So right here, this has been an area of concern, obviously there. So we're gonna wait to see what happens as we go now on NVDA into this spot. So if we do get, I mean, I should have been there, would have liked to have been there for that trade, but we clearly had missed it. So we'll have to wait to see if it does come back in again. I'm a little bit lower than where we are. That wick was 94, and we'll get out of another piece of this. We only have 2 outs here. So we still have shares. We can still put this trade on again. We should have used more shares, to be honest with you. But, you know, look at this risk to reward. Remember where we told you our out was 115.25 break? So we're short right here at 114.87 or whatever that is. So that was giving us about 30 or 40 cents worth of risk. 40 or 50 cents worth of risk. So to be in the money now 75, probably worth taking another piece out. So let's see if we do get that ultimate dip, duck, dive, dodge, all of that coming through. So we'll wait for it and bid a little bit lower. And by the way, oh yeah, often you do not get a second chance to right your wrongs. We did here on Micron. We had missed this break of the 50 period. We should have been out there. We put the order back in. We didn't panic and punch out or anything like that. All of these trades that we've had, sans this one, we got out of here. Look where Microsoft is right now. You want to talk about absolutely nailing that Microsoft trade. I mean, this was VWAP all the way to the bottom, but again, we did get out of our last 10% when it broke through the 50 period moving average. So sometimes charting and whatnot will have a way of making you look genius, and sometimes a way of making you look silly. And right there, getting out there, although I don't consider that a bad out, it was an out, needless to say. Okay. Looking at Tesla, let's see if there's, I mean, we could have shorted that instead of NVIDIA. Feel happy about choosing NVIDIA. We could have reshorted the futures right there. Again, we had the 200 period moving average on the 1 minute chart. Again, could have came in right now today. So I always go over, you guys always ask me, we always talk about it. I do anyways. Something that I like to talk about. Apple, we're red. Amazon, red. So that's 2 red names. Google, red. Meta, red. That's 3 red names. Micron, up. Okay, up on Micron. So again, we'll talk about that again. What we're doing on Micron right there. Up on Softy, up on Micron, up on Nvidia, up on TQs, flat on Tesla, and Uber actually. Funny that we got some of that news coming through today. Uber actually spanked us up a little bit as we tried to go short. Net, it's fine on Uber. Absolutely no problems. We're pretty good to go here with that name. But at the end of the day, we did not trade this move up. But Uber, we did go red on it, trying to short a little bit at 66.50, 67 or so. It's a good thing we were able to get out. We do not absorb that Uber trade to the downside. Man, oh man, have we made back some money here this afternoon, man. Happy to do it. And there it is right there. Bang, bang. It's your dollar club brought to you by, of course, NVIDIA. So there it goes. Nicely done here to the top side. It's NVIDIA, and it's still
downside.
Downside, yeah. But adding to the net. So here we go. Can we get another bid down here? We've come down here a couple times. Let's just change our bid now into mid-90s. At this point, we are getting later on in the day. I said time is on our side. It's getting to be not on our side here as we start to expire out on the day. So yeah, we're still good to go here, and we're still trading. So nice out there for NVIDIA. Guys, that's $1 right there. So let's put that in our pocket and tell you that we've made back 30% here. So it's all good. We are still going to be red though, I think, into the day. We had taken an inappropriate amount of, not inappropriate. I'm not happy about this Meta trade. My whole day is basically sitting on Meta. Plus we had lost on Amazon trying to go short this pop. Some of these names start going like haywire sometimes. And, I have to have that
program buying on a lot of these
That's
stocks.
it, program buying, right? I mean, look at this Microsoft program selling. NVIDIA, we're in it. It's a dollar club member. We're pretty happy to go.
Yeah, and I want to get to I'll get to this that serve in a quick second, but there's seemingly still someone buying 140 over and over and over again on AMD. So with it being 344, this is like make it or break it. It breaks it, we look the $0.50 down. If it bounces here, just gonna get out, no reload as well. So like it's consolidating. It kind of didn't get to VWAP, but it gave us that 80 level. If we get back above 30, I think it's probably just gonna retest that high, so we'll get out of it. And I have to point this out because I find this chart hilarious. So it just broke that 30, I trailed out of it. I find this chart hilarious, and there is a very decent chance that tomorrow, if I have a very specific plan for Tellurian, and you don't see this very often, they're getting bought for $1 cash, but what is happening on this stock? You've got a couple million shares on the bid here at 94. If I see this level break on 94, you might think, oh, if this stock flat bottom breaks, go short. If this stock flat bottom breaks and holds the first quarter cent and comes back above 94, tomorrow I'm hammering 94 long.
Yeah.
Because like that's like the deal's at $1. It's already trading 6% away from that. The thing got bought for cash at $1. That's why it's not moving much. But look at the buying here. A lot of people are going to stop out when this thing breaks 94 because a lot of people sitting on the bid and scalping it, which makes a lot of sense. But I'm thinking the other thing. If they get rinsed tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning, maybe in the pre-market, I have no idea. On the way back up, I'm punching long 94. And if it happens tomorrow, it happens tomorrow. If it happens on Monday, it happens on Monday. But I've been watching this for a couple of days now, and every single time, you see the same pattern. It loses under 94, kind of tries to go another penny, half a cent, reclaim. Half a cent, reclaim. Like today, it won't even break that sucker. So if it breaks people, I'm going to be going the other direction. I just think it's probably going to run some stops. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We got 4 minutes to the imbalances. AMD still could pop into VWAP for one last shot. And Micron, we're not going to see 109 on Micron unless something crazy happens in the next 3 minutes. And then that AVTR stock. So it's already coming to the downside. Now remember, now see, look at this. Now it's only 7 million to the sell. It's supposed to be a huge buy imbalance. So if this tanks into like the low, like 22.35 and starts to pair off, I'm going to want to long this thing. It's AVTR. It's supposed to be a buy imbalance. If we see it sell off and then come out a bid at like 350 or flip to a bid at 355, I'm going to try punching long if I can get it near anywhere near that low. So AVTR is supposed to be added to the S&P 400.
All right. Wow. Some of these calls that we've had here this afternoon, again, just been huge, right? I mean, this NVIDIA is now $1.30. This Microsoft is just continuing to go down. This Micron making us look smart as well with a huge move there on Micron coming back in. So yeah, I mean, we're still here every single day, except for tomorrow. Join Neil and Obi tomorrow as we have a baseball game. I talked to my parents. They're going to try.
Were you guys going this time?
Right here. It's right here at Royal York.
No,
That's an
okay, yeah.
all-girls,
no, you told me.
Tournament. And yeah, we're ready and primed up for that. We have a game tonight, though, at Hyde Park. So I go right after this, right over. I have basically.
They still televise because they used to. I used to watch.
They do that anymore on CT. No, but they do T-ball.
Oh, okay, that's right. It's the younger age. No, because like I still watch one of those like local news shows.
Yeah.
And it's the Hyde Park that you'd always see the highlights of Hyde Park T-ball, which is really cool. So unfortunately, I guess they're a little bit.
Yeah, they don't do that. They're too old now. But there it is, right there. It is going.
Now we're pro.
Yeah. So over the next, so we have a game tonight, which is like a house league game. Then we have 2 rep games tomorrow, 2 rep games Saturday, and then the finals on Sunday. So we're going to be quite busy. Barbecue sprinkled on in there as well. My daughter's just meeting all these PWHL players as well today for hockey. So it's like a very exciting time in the Katina household. All right, so we are right now very, very close to maybe getting out of NVIDIA. I mean, again, yesterday my number one name. I think the day before my number one name. Tesla's been sprinkled in there as well. And then we just go right back to the well. There it is, another one for us. Only shorts today. These longs, I think we're just getting out of a overpunch. But there it is, another short position for us on NVIDIA. Definitely did not capture as much profit as we should have right there because it just touched down to 113. So I'm just going to put a bid down there. We do have those imbalances coming out now in a minute, so that could be something. I guess I can cancel my 115 shorts now, and that won't be coming in. Just making sure that I cancel all my scripts. We don't have any punch outs ready to go yet as well. And by the way, Mamma mia, was this an awesome trade right there. So I've already told you, I'm already employed. Anyways, good shorts there to the downside for the TQs. So we nail that again. And like I've told you, this has been a big stock for me this month and last month. I believe it's for sure this month. I'll have to check last month for my #1 stock. But, you know, we're having a good month, and let's just see if it can continue here. And I think trading futures might be something that we found to be quite profitable for us now. So Tesla at VWAP.
Tesla is a VWAP. It's 30 seconds till the imbalances come out. Meridian in the chat. Micron is approaching, obviously oversold. I tend to agree. It bounced off this 105. We talked about this in the morning show. That 105 level, huge, huge support. If it can hold that tomorrow, I think it's going to be a good one. As mentioned, there's Micron. I have Micron up. This AVTR, this is what I'm going to be looking at in the next 7 seconds. If it ends up coming out of sell, tanking into the low, and then even starting to pair off, I want to try and buy that bottom. So imbalance came out. It's an even smaller sell, so 2.8 million to the. It's still to the sell side. 2.8 million to sell there. Nvidia 1.5 sell. Intel 1.3 sell. Starbucks 900,000 to buy for Starbucks. Marvell is a sell of 700,000. So it looks like chip names sell. I don't see Apple. I don't see like Amazon or Google or anything like that. But chip names to the sell side.
There it is. That's a tough animation. All right, here we go.
It needs sound.
Nice move to the
Where's the sound on that?
There's like a roar at the end.
I didn't hear it.
There is. There's a small one there, I believe. To me, this is a better bear one. This is the big. No. I think it's a similar. That's just a better graphic. Right there, but there it is, right there, man. Let's go. That's a 115 to 113, Neil. That is one more time, 1 and 2. $2 club coming in right there for us on that trade. So far, so good there. We are now out and probably done. So that's it, man. Great trading in here in the afternoon. I hope all of you had many of these trades, including this NVIDIA one. It sucks, man. I mean, it doesn't suck. I'm glad to have tomorrow off. But wow, really wish we could be here with everybody one more time tomorrow. But you'll be in good hands with Neil and Obi. And then we'll just see what winds up happening here into the close now for the rest of our day here today. So again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a hell of a day, up and down both ways today. You're able to win no matter what you were doing or lose. And that's what I want to tell you. Like intraday, can't really remember that I've seen, even if you take my net away, probably it's a pretty bad day. Here. So I think that does happen when these markets go like that. And I'm not telling you that for any other reason other than if you too had a back and forth day, you're not alone. And I think that's why a lot of us trade together here. We trade together to be real with each other and to tell you when we're having good days, when we're having bad days, what trades we like, what trades we don't like, and to show you both our winners and our losers. So here in the afternoon, TQs, Nvidia, Micron, and Microsoft. We played the short, we hit the short, and we made back a decent spot today. Screwed up early, made back late, will be red today. And I want to thank you to Hey Davis and everybody that's out there as well.
Say hey.
Yeah.
The market just tanked again.
I understand that I could be here for trading abilities, but definitely not for my looks. So I'm going to try to be honest. There it is. There it is. GoatX Rex. What's up? Three Kings Media, Naresh, and everybody out there. Oh, there's a name we haven't seen in a minute. SoFi. What is up with SoFi? 7:30.
Well,
are they reporting soon? Yeah, horrible day. Yeah, what's up, Jer Lewis? SoFi up 3%. Okay. Andrew Rader was talking about shorting some of the banks. So we'll see if SoFi is included into that. SoFi goes up to $8 and now gets faded out.
They're the end of the month. They're the end of the month.
They are at the end of the month.
They're one of the end of the month crowd. It's like Tuesday, right?
Oh, right.
Last day of the month is maybe it's Wednesday. Whatever. It's next week. It's the 30th. Whatever the heck day that is. That's when SoFi reports. And above the 50 period moving average. In your face, SoFi. You're actually above the 50. But that AVTR, I said I'd take a shot if it paired off. So maybe it psyched me out. I had this trade before this, that volume spike. It came out and it was only like 2.8, right? So it was 7 million shares, I think, before 350, went down to 2.8 million shares, dipped into this level. I went long. It broke the bottom, has since reversed, and now is starting to go back into the upside. So I tried it off of this little buy level. It's going to start to go. I'm going to get up to the desk in, like a couple of minutes. I do want to keep my eyes on this. It might still flip to green, and then you could have a little bit of a push into the upside. It's supposed to be an addition anyways. So that sell and balance we expect to pair off. Don't go anywhere, of course. Tonight we got Danielle Shay in the market recap show, which is always a heck of a lot of fun. I'll confirm what she wants to talk about in there today. And Jam Losi just said, look at Lucid. There is a stock I have not even touched in a very long time. But that's Lucid up 6%. I can't say that this is what I would have expected. Lucid, a lot of things bounced today, but I feel like the EVs, they could be in some trouble. But Lucid holding very nicely at $3.50. That's not good if you look at a daily chart and pull it back far enough. But we talked about names that broke out and held the high. Lucid, oddly enough, falls into that category. So a good day for Lucid. Still not a name that I'm that interested in the long term. I've made my bet on an EV name that could go bankrupt, and that one is Rivian.
Yeah, Rivian can't go bankrupt. They won't go bankrupt.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying they all, if they're not, anybody that isn't Tesla or has a legacy auto business, to me, can go bankrupt. And when you're betting on them, that's the downside. That's all I'm getting at. I'm not saying they're going bankrupt, that's all.
Yeah, we're able to get out. I mean, this is part of us raising some capital with Rivian. We're able to get some out. We bought 11 out, 1850, raising capital there. Wow, man. I mean, so we had that spidey sense, man. We were all over this. We had shorted this market. I just hope that some of you had held on into the close. There's been so many times where those imbalances have come the other way. But come on, we got to give some kind of props for this Microsoft trade. I mean, this short right there that we put on for you, we put it on with you. It even went against us right now. Microsoft retracing all the way back to the bottom of the day. We talked about this with Rader Trader. We talked about this with Faloona there. And honestly, this is a big move to the downside. It's continuing. And, there it is. That's what we're all about over here. Free Fall Friday, unfortunately, I do believe that could be the case tomorrow. So, yeah, get ready for that. And I'm being serious. You could have another move down. You're down 1% today, plus 3.5% yesterday. That's 4.5% in the last little while. So, yeah, do I think that we can go lower? Yes, I do. And I think that's not going to stop anytime soon. So get ready for that. I don't know. I don't want to be like the bearer of such bad news. I'm not sure where the market's going to go, as I bought yesterday into some of this downside move, and it's continuing today. Not looking so smart anymore. But I did secure Rader Trader. He's going to be with me in a couple weeks on Friday, so that should be a lot of fun coming through as well. Neil is going to have Ryan tomorrow and Danielle today, so that should be fun. Although I messaged Brendan yesterday, we didn't have a guest yesterday, and I thought it was, again, one of our best recap shows. Thank you to Adara for that one. We bring the heat every time on that show. We didn't even really have too many earnings to write home about yesterday, but we still put on, and it was a great one. Thank you to everybody for staying late with us and watching that as well. And today will be a much better show because Neil is at the control. So watch out for that coming up in just 3 minutes. I really hope that we fix that clock, that countdown thing. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Much appreciated there, Fabian, on that one. So I will be hitting that with 10 seconds left, and hopefully we'll get that countdown right for you this time. But all right, here we go. Market moving down. Now, you want to talk about where I think this market could possibly go. I mean, here we go. This is the NASDAQ. Look, you want to catch this falling knife? Today, it did retrace back up into 19,400, right? We had Dan Emmons talking about it. He's a long-term trader with the futures contract, and Kyle Burdett as well. A lot of you expecting some of these flushes. Well, it's flushed down, man. Now you're down. Just from 7 days ago, you are now down, I guess it's 9%, including today, and looking to go lower. This market is not very healthy right here at some of these levels. So, at front of earnings, what if Nvidia doesn't pull up, right? What if Meta has some tailwinds again? It is a nervous time to be holding on to some of these shares. I would say you do not have to flip long at all until we at least take the level that we tried to take today. So that's 19.4, 19.5. If we get above that, you can flip longs. I'd be short against that. Now you're trying to break even lower on the NASDAQ. Little bit of a danger spot here for the NQs looking into tomorrow. You see names like Microsoft down 2.5% today. They can't hold this market from falling, right? So that's going to be a worry spot for many traders. Apple coming up today, trying to get going, and now turning red again. Apple was a we were short. Apple was a super strong name into today, now turning red. You had Google come with their report yesterday. Was it a good one? No, it was not. It wasn't even that bad. But look what happens to Google today, down another 3%. Are these good levels possibly for long-term? Yes. Are they good levels right now to be buying dips? I think no. So now that we only have 1 minute left, I'm just making sure all my orders are canceled now. We don't have anything in sort of danger to fill up here at the end of the day. So far, so good here for us into the close as we get ready to go. So it's going to be a Dara on the bell today. I'll hit it for you. And hold on, will I hit it for you? Wait a minute, where is my countdown? There it is. Okay, ready to go with only 30 seconds now. Wow, the market got green and then finishes at the lows. What do you think that means for traders here heading into tomorrow? I would say negative. So let's pay attention to that. Right now, we do have the countdown. That is now up. Hey, Adara, how are you doing? So. All right, here we go with only 4, 3, 2, and 1. End this day. Everybody, I have great news for you. The pain is now over, unless you're still in position. Wow, Google just got nailed at the end of the day. Everything got nailed. Microsoft got nailed. The NASDAQ got nailed. Everything. I guess the NASDAQ didn't go to the low of the day, but pretty close right there. Let's find out our friend Meta, what happened at the end of the day for Meta. A nice move down. Just let me know when they're ready and I will throw it. I know we do have earnings coming through for you here today. A name that I left for dead, Ford. Should have looked at Ford. That was another one-off VWAP up there that you could have nailed today. Ford's down 20%. Oh my, there are problems right now in the market, man. I just saw a headline, Musk versus Pelosi, who will win? Well, bank account, probably Musk. Politically, probably Pelosi. All right, thank you so much, man. Let's go. Look, I don't know what the market's gonna do. I'm just reading to you the tea leaves. I hope we get back up to the upside. I am not logging into the 401k today. We'll just let it settle down. We'll check this out maybe next week. We still have got the big guys to come. Apple, we've got Meta, Nvidia, AMD, some of the big chip names to come coming through ASAP. I am literally just killing time. So you let me know. I don't hear you. All right, let's go. They are now ready, so let's flow it over. I still don't hear her. Back over to the desk with Neil and Adara. See everybody Monday. Ciao.
A great one there, Sean. Good luck in that tournament. But, oh my, the markets, what goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. It feels like the yo-yo day. It's just the only fitting thing that could have happened, the way that the market moved today, was for it to tank the way that it did going into the close. So it seems about right. The NASDAQ opened tanking and then did a rip-your-face-off rally. So everyone that believed in the shorts, like you had to stay alive for it today. It was a wild, wild one. We actually started off with like a strong GDP number, which I almost forgot about this. We started off with a strong GDP number. Obviously, that didn't move the markets as much as what we saw here at the open. You were a day removed from Tesla and Google earnings. There was some news on good news for Uber in the middle of the day. Even that got retraced. But I think today was so great, Adara, because there were so many lessons that you can learn in terms of trading, the trend, when to wait for the turn. Like the confirmation on the pullback gave you great opportunities to short on the way back down in the afternoon. But on the way up, what was the best shorting opportunity in a week in the first 10 minutes, rip faces off. And the cues exemplify that perfectly. It was a complete V-shape and then breakout, only to close back at those lows. And they weren't alone. We were talking with Rahim Alani this morning about a little gold action. Oh my goodness. And GLD finishing down 1.5%. The bigger time frame look here is pulling back into prior support on GLD. So I think it's still worth a look. If you like GDX a little bit better, that's actually trying to get into the 50-period moving average. There's plenty that was strong today. We had a great run of guests in the afternoon show. We had Rader, Trader. We had our good friend Ryan Faloona on. And Rader was mentioning XBI. You look at those biotech names. They had a strong day today, 2% to the good, along with XLE. Energy had a very good day today, up 1.6%. So a lot of things looking fantastic. The big name for earnings, Adara, this afternoon, at least for myself, there's a few out there. Skechers might be interesting to some people. I don't know if we've actually had those yet, but not a lot of big cap. We got the big ones, at least for this week, with Tesla and Google. But next week, that's where we get into some really, really the heavy hitters start flowing through there, Dara, for earnings.
The week after next as well is also going to be really good. The week after next when we get our Palantirs, our Rivians, our Datadogs. But this coming week, definitely check out the week ahead. There are so many earnings. You'll get Meta, you'll get Microsoft, you get Apple and Amazon on the same night. And the same night as Apple and Amazon Thursday night, you also get Intel and so many other names. You get Airbnb, I believe, the same night as well. Snapchat as well. Thank you. Thank you, baby, in there. Get that one in a snap. Block as well as the same night, SQ. And then on the Tuesday and Wednesday, you have so many names as well. It was... Oh, yeah, this is how many names there are. Fabian's reading off the week ahead script because there were so many earnings names this week. So Starbucks on Tuesday as well, along with Microsoft. So, Microsoft.
Just a little softy.
Just a bit of softy there, stirred into the latte. And then AMD also on Tuesday because, why not? Why not? So many earnings names, guys. Please, you can check them out.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Look, we love earnings season. There's no question about it. Remember, that's how all this mess started to the downside, right? It started with Tesla. It started with Alphabet. And it's not helping Skechers. That's sure. Skechers down 5%. Hey, man, I just bought a pair of Skechers because I need comfortable stuff when I'm crutching around. They are comfortable, but you're not comfortable if you're in the long right now. Down 6%. The numbers are certainly going to be out here. Big volume. What do we have going on with Skechers here at Dara?
Yeah, these numbers kind of sketchy. Q2 sales, this is a miss. We have $2.157 billion here versus the estimate of $2.234 billion for Q2 sales. That is going to be a miss here. EPS, also a miss, 91 cents compared to the estimate of 95 cents per share. They also did authorize a $1 billion buyback program, so we know sometimes that can be positively received. But again, just to clarify, Q2 sales miss. We did have $2.157 billion versus the estimate of $2.234 billion. So that 2.17 versus 2.23, that will be a miss. Also, their earnings from operations also a miss. 206.5 million versus the estimate of 217 million. Everything was a miss, guys.
Well, if there's a silver lining for Skechers here, it's that the expected move was 10%, and it's only down 8%. So that's out there for you. The other silver lining would be, at least when you pull up the daily chart, it's not that complicated where the support level might be. Hey, look at this. There's our 2021 high at $56. Then we have our 2023 top there at $56. Then we just dipped into 56 and ripped to a fresh top. So 56 looks like an interesting line in the sand. Oddly enough, I feel like this always happens, but you close at 64. You close down here, at 63.9, 64, and then all of a sudden, if it goes past that 10% down, we would be looking at a test of the 56 level tomorrow if it does go SSR. So you're setting me up for an SSR trade, Skechers, and if you lose, I'm going to be upset, but you got to hit it. Like today, the best opportunity for myself should have been the ARM SSR bounce off 140. You guys are, whoa, Skechers. We're going to get to the super chat in a second, but whatever they just said, Skechers just went green. This is why you've got to be careful playing in the aftermarket. Skechers now up 4% and flying through 64. It just hit $66. So I don't know if maybe they had an advised guidance number or some other numbers came out, but I wanted to get this super chat in there. Willis Addison, Skechers puts due to Nike since losing my CMG calls. Okay, good luck. Those were looking fantastic. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Skechers right back into the upside. This is the thing about aftermarket earnings. You're rapid fire with the numbers. You can always come out with a guide. You can always have a conference call coming after. You could have one metric like Chipotle yesterday. Chipotle did, all it was the margin. The margin guide, margin's going to be lower. Everything else was a beat. Yep. Stock was gapped up and running. This morning, they decided they didn't like that margin number, and it was back to the downside. So always be careful trading those earnings. But yeah, sketchy move there on Skechers. Were there any updates to the numbers there?
No, like I said, the $1 billion share buyback program, that was by far the standout from this report, so maybe it's a late reaction to that. We also did have, and I can't tell how this compares to analyst estimates, but their Q3 sales outlook here, 2.3 billion to 2.35 billion, certainly better than what they did this quarter, which was 2.17 billion, but again, not sure how that guidance compares to estimates.
We're going to have to raise the alert to Dexcom 5 right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, whatever happens with Skechers, Dexcom just got destroyed. 27% down. They're down $31 here. You just failed the 105 level, broke 100, broke 90, and are tapping $80 here. Dexcom. This is not a small company. Dexcom's a 32 billion market cap, and they just lost 30% at the lows, down 27%. This is wild. It's nasty. You're all the way back to 2023 lows here for Dexcom. 75% is that low. That is absolute destruction. I can't imagine they beat here at Era.
Well, they actually did beat here in earnings per share. We did get an earnings per share beat here, 43 cents compared to the estimate of 39 cents. But we have to talk about revenue because that was decidedly not a beat. 1.004 billion versus the estimate of 1.036 billion. So 1.00 billion compared to the estimate of 1.03 billion. That is going to be, and it was kind of hard to read those numbers out loud, but it is a miss.
That's 30% down. Those numbers are. What is the guidance here?
Guidance, they're seeing 975 million to 1 billion for Q3. So given that they reported 1 billion this quarter, that's going to be a pretty big step down. If again, I'm not seeing how this compares to their other guidance, but they're also seeing total 2024 revenue of quote about 4 billion to 4.05 billion. They also announced a $750 million share repurchase program. So everybody announcing share repurchase programs. We had CMG yesterday, 400 billion. Skechers earlier today, 1 billion. And then we have Dexcom, 750 million.
Well, you better believe you're going to authorize a share. Look, man, if you liked your stock at $105, Dexcom, you damn sure like. Oh, can I say that? You certainly like your stock down at $80, right? So, yeah, maybe you should double that buyback. I'm just throwing, hey, but if you like it, they're another 30%. It doesn't have to sound like it, but, you know, and I was a very young trader. I'm not young now. When I started out, and I've heard it a million times. There is no such thing as good or bad earnings. There is just the report and whatever the heck the market decides to do with the price. So whatever it is, Dexcom, and when you react like this, it doesn't give me those good feels. I didn't feel like, for a lot of today, I didn't really feel like the rally was something that we'd made a temporary bottom. I still felt pressure on the market. I'm still concerned about earnings season. This does absolutely nothing to help any of that. And the expected move was 12%. This is 30 points at the worst, now 29 points to the downside. It's over 2x, so I know this is one that will be on the radar tomorrow. If it doesn't do our vol tomorrow, then it's never going to do our vol, and it's never a stock worth trading. So Dexcom is, I was trying to throw a Death Star reference in here, but no, it's like DEFCON, Dexcom. That's all you can do, but this is kind of nasty. Good luck, anybody here. I feel like this is going to be low-hanging fruit for an SSR bounce.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if this stock is ambidextrous, but like if it can go back up. But also with regards to the SSR bounce, EW, Edward Life Sciences, is when I was trading on the midday. That thing kept selling off, and you were able, at one point we did bounce. We didn't bounce very much. I was actually able to make $1.25 on that in the long, but you could also make money on the short, which was, I kept thinking at some point we have to bounce, and it's like that's a huge example of the trend being your friend. So I guess some of these, because that was an earnings move. They also announced some acquisitions during their call, but that flopped, and it never really gave you a true bounce. Gave you a bit of a bounce into 64s, and that was it. So
didn't it though?
I thought that was an interesting level.
So this is the thing about the SSR trade. I've said it time and time again. You have to be willing to take hits because the stock is getting crushed. That's the whole point. It's down 10%. Or in this case, Life Sciences was 30%. At the open, this is the opening, like right before the open, it tanks into 63.25. At the open, on the opening candle, it breaks that low by a matter of pennies and then holds the even dollar at 63. That is, if you're taking this trade, you're probably long at 63.5, and if it breaks even, you're out. That's 50 cents worth of risk. It goes all the way up to 67.50. Like that is, but if it breaks the low, you're out of it. And there was another opportunity for a bounce at that low, but it tried to, it goes right back into the low, tries to bounce and fails it. Then you get this little wick bottom at 61.5. It's a random level, but there are usually shots. But you've got to be willing to get that move or to get that move. You have to be willing to try this bounce and lose and have a tight stop on it. That's part of the ball game. And I only say this because you're just going over. We like to go over trades as well. We're gonna have. I think we have Danielle Shay. I don't know if she's locked and loaded, ready to go just yet. But I wanted to go to ARM because this was you mentioned SSR bounces and Edward Life Sciences. I wasn't even looking at ARM today, and then in the chat someone said ARM is tanking, and I pulled it up and it was down 8%. And I stopped everything. I said I'm putting this up on a level 2, and if it goes SSR, first even dollar bounce on ARM. And then I allowed like a whale trade that I thought somebody fat fingered the stock, and I got out of the long. I was pretty sure someone fat fingered a long. What I didn't realize was that the market rally was going to do what it did, but it was at 142 on the offer, and it was being held down here. And this wick, I'm going to show a 1-minute chart. Where are we? Let's go zoom out. There we go. So this break right here of 142, it was at 142. It dipped down to about 80s. I had covered. This move from 142 to 144 was a single order. A single order that took it $2 to the upside, and when it got there, was still bidding 100,000 shares on the bid. Then got filled. It came all the way back down to the same level that it was holding resistance, turned into instant support at 142, and then off to the races. I have never seen anything like that. I was convinced someone had fat fingered, and they were going to get roasted because the market was going down.
Yeah.
I thought someone screwed up, bought too many shares. If the market continues, this stock is going to tank. I'm like, I'm not going long this thing. It's a trap. And the trap was anybody that thought it was a short. Thankfully, I didn't short the stock till it got to 150. I still lost on the short up here, but at least I waited for it to get up there to short. So that's probably the best and smartest thing I did today. But sometimes a big order isn't somebody fat fingering. Somebody wanted into ARM, or somebody wanted to cover real bad because they saw what was coming. And that was legit. It's not often you will see a stock like this gap, and then someone still has shares to be filled, gets them all, and they are dead right. But every now and then it is going to happen. So it was a good one to learn from. I'm telling you, if I see that again and then it holds above the 144, right back at their price and starts bidding above it, I'm just going long, being like, if they were right and they're a whale, I'm going to join the whale long and risk a buck. I didn't do that. I'd never seen it before, but the market wants to teach you something every single day. And you know what? This show aims to teach you something every single day. This channel aims to teach you something every single day. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are ready right now to learn a little. Well, not yet? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not quite ready. I want to get my learn on. I want to see what our guest has to say about Tesla and this overall market recovery, but that's fine. We'll just wait a couple of seconds here. We can double check to see what I'm kind of preparing myself because I'm about to pull up that DXCM stock, right? So you can see me like leaning back a little bit because like, seriously, it's down more. Like this 34% to the downside. Oh my goodness. It wasn't even like those numbers were not exactly complete and utter disaster. This is going to the 2023 low. So this 2023 low, never mind, scratch that. It already broke the 2023 low. It's over. This is like it's over. DXCM, Dexcom, you're not having a good day. I'm going to zoom it way out so I can show you where the Alamo is. $67 is the 2022 low. So tomorrow when I come in, the SSR bounce play on Dexcom might just be $67. And down this much, $40 to the downside when we were expecting a third of this is insane. Yeah, we are absolutely ready to get our learn on. And what an earnings season it is. Glad to have Danielle Shay. Wow, is all I have to say. Welcome, Danielle Shay, one of our favorite guests on the show. It's a really good thing we have you on a day that the market did absolutely nothing, because we have nothing here to talk about whatsoever. So first of all, how are things going, Danielle? Welcome to the show. Unbelievable today.
Everything's great. It's been a crazy week, but ultimately I think that this is going to provide us with a lot of opportunities. So while the pullback has been a little bit swift, I'm looking for opportunity out there.
I think swift is a little bit of an understatement, but that's day traders tend to exaggerate moves. That's what we do because everything seems extreme. I'm more like what's interesting to me today is after yesterday, it was easy to be a little bit bearish. And then you had that tank in the morning. I can't remember too many times you have that kind of a downward push. You V-shape it and break out the top, and then we're just right back almost at the lows at the end of the day. I'm expecting the buyers to have rinsed a bunch of people and at least hold those tops. This is not making me less bearish with the reaction that we had today. So obviously I know we're going to be interested in some Tesla. That was a nasty move. Google, Alphabet, they had their earnings as well. Then you had the news of this chat GPT search, which also took it to the downside. We have major earnings coming next week. I know we love some softy. Where are our eyeballs so I don't have to look at this Dexcom stock and throw up on the desk?
Sure. So just starting off and looking at the NASDAQ, I mean, things looked a lot better today just because we had traded down into the 19,000 price point and bounced. That was the critical support zone that I was looking for. But the problem is by the end of today, you can see that the NASDAQ futures closed at 18,974. So that means that they broke this very critical support zone at 19,000. I also didn't like the way that, closed down on the day. We gave up a lot of the recovery that we had seen earlier. So I would say today did not give me a lot of confidence as far as that hold at 19,000. And primarily I'm focused on next week for earnings, because here's the thing is that I don't want to be getting into a bunch of swing trades right now when I know that I have Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple all coming up next week. And those have a big potential to rock the market, just like Tesla and Google did this week.
100%. And we've heard you all the time. Earnings season is for some traders, I know for yourself, run into earnings and then, the numbers come out and then you can make your moves coming out of it. My question would be to you, obviously today, the NASDAQ not holding those levels, not that great. Now, Alphabet, the pullback from the high on Alphabet here is, I'm not going to call it extreme or anything, but at the end of the day, it's double digits, 190 to 166. You're more than halfway to the 200 period moving average. Forget about the 50. Do you ever go into next week looking at something like a Meta, which obviously relies on advertising as well? So there's some they're adjacent in the business. Do you ever look at the move on Alphabet and start getting ideas going into next week with Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, or are you just like, you know what? I don't want to be swayed by that price action. Let's let those things speak for themselves. Because I'm finding myself leaning bearish on those earnings. As a day trader, I guess sometimes you have to have a bias, but do you care the move that we've seen in Alphabet, or are you completely agnostic to it and you just want to see where the lay of the land is next week?
Oh, it absolutely matters. And the reason why it matters is because every earnings quarter, it's a different season and you have a different flavor every season. And so what kind of happened this quarter was we went into the quarter incredibly strong. Stocks have been doing really well over the last 3 months. And so I think the biggest issue here was expectations were really high. And so if you look at something like Tesla, after the move that it's had, it needed to have an absolutely phenomenal report to maintain that stock price. And so, certainly you have that problem with Google as well. And so when you're looking at the way that these stocks have pulled back, that definitely tells me that this week we could see more moves like that. Specifically from Meta, because Meta is incredibly volatile. Now, Microsoft, it doesn't move as much over earnings, generally 3, maybe 7%. So I'm not as concerned about that one. That one tends to be a little bit more stable. But if you look at what Meta did last quarter, I can pull up my earnings hot zone right here. This one, first of all, has kind of already shifted and broken into a downward trend. But last quarter, it gapped down 14%, and the quarter before that, it was up 16%. So a lot of volatility in this name. You can also see that it's really close to that 200 simple. So if you do end up getting a break of 425, I mean, it could definitely drop like a rock.
Yeah, as you said, we've seen Meta do this. I mean, was it 3 times Meta did 25% on that big flush? What gets me about today, and this is why the nature of the reversal to end up on the lows is so strange to me. And I was looking at ARM, I was looking at Nvidia, so it didn't matter what you looked at, but especially Meta's retracement today. I'm talking about the way that it made the bottom down at 440. It was 445. I mean, look, it tagged 442. You can say held 440, but to have like a $3 wick, and then once it got back above that 445, that is a reversal that usually rips faces off. And why I'm sort of leaning a little bit bearish, when that happens a week before earnings and it never takes out the top, like it's okay, so it probably screws a lot of people short. It's just higher lows, and continues to break, cannot get to the top, rolls over and loses support. I just feel like it's telling you that even the strongest moves are having people take some profit. And as you said, these expectations are sky high. We just had this Dexcom barely miss on revenue and drop 38%. Now, I don't know the company, but I can tell you that when you start to have things like that, you've got to get a little bit cautious. So I want to go back to Tesla for a second, because we've come and gone. Tesla, obviously, they had to have great numbers. They did not. We've pulled back in here. It ended up green today. Yay, Tesla. At least you didn't completely capitulate at the end of the day. And what I see here is an opportunity potentially. Okay, so the things were bad today. It ended up green. $200 is the 50, the 200, simple, and it's $200. If we hold on to this level through the rest of these mega cap earnings, I feel pretty good about Tesla. I know it's an if, but I'm starting to think this level, which was a big one on the way down, if it holds on to this 200 level through the worst of these big cap tech earnings next couple of weeks, I'm going to like Tesla. As weird as that is to say, because it's been really nasty for them the last couple of days. Are you looking for some kind of a trade in Tesla next week? And if so, do you also like the support? I know you like that 50 period, Danielle.
So I agree with you. I like the support at the $200 price point, and going into earnings, that was the critical support zone that I had in mind. Yes, Tesla fell over earnings, but it did only initially fall 8%. It wasn't very promising that it ended up down, 12%. Typically you don't want it to fall the expected move and then continue falling. So not a great move from Tesla yesterday, but I think the way that buyers came in today was fantastic. It didn't hold as much as it was up earlier, but right now holding the 220 price point, it's not bad. If it falls into 200, as long as it holds there, I think that would be a great buy spot. I'm not going to be buying any more mega cap tickers before earnings next week, but certainly after earnings from the next major 4 companies come out next week. I mean, I'd love to look at buying Tesla into August, as long as the NASDAQ is holding up above 19,000, and as long as these mega cap tech names have stabilized.
Yeah, and that's the right word. If you feel a little bearish and we're a little under pressure, let things stabilize. Always patient as a trader, and which we all should be, regardless of your trading style. Danielle, appreciate your thoughts. I know we're not going to have you next week, but it's big earnings for 2 weeks in a row. Like the next 2 weeks are the 2 biggest earnings weeks. So tell everybody where they can find you, because I'm sure you'll be able to drop some thoughts. Let everyone know where they can check you out so they can get a little bit more knowledge in the meantime, as we're about to head into the Super Bowl of earnings.
Well, I'm really sad I'm not going to be with you next week, because I love mega cap tech earnings, but I'm going to be speaking at a conference in Las Vegas. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get on the show, but I will be on Twitter. So probably won't post anything on YouTube next week, since I'm going to be traveling and on stage and stuff. But I do typically post a lot on Twitter when I'm traveling. So you can find me at Trader Danielle.
There it is, everybody. I'm the only professional trader who has never been to Las Vegas. I swear this is true. And I'm not going to tell the story again. But I've paid for a trip to Las Vegas that I was not the one that went on. And you can probably surmise by the frown on my face who might have gone on that trip. But we wish you all the best. I am sure you're going to have a lot of fun there, but kill it on that, kill that presentation for sure. Make sure you enjoy yourself, Danielle. I know we're going to enjoy looking at some of those earnings, and best of luck on any trades you might want to put on. One of our favorite guests. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thank you.
There we go. And I'm not going to, anyways, I'll tell that story. I'll probably tell that story again tomorrow, but most of you guys have probably heard it. But thank you so much to Danielle Shay. This market doesn't like us. And I can tell because when you're even selling the beer companies, we're in trouble. So you can't even be like, okay, well, everyone's going to drink their sorrows away. Boston beer is going to be fine. Nope, they're down 7% as well. Yeah. Everybody gets hit today. So DXM stinks. Boston beer not having a good one. At least Skechers is up 2%. So they actually did pretty well there. So Skechers, despite that flush, they're now up 2%. It just goes to show that the first move isn't always the biggest move or the right move for the overall stock. Tricky trading those earnings. That's why we're all over it. But you know what time it is? Apparently it's already 4:30.
How? That's
and
great.
You know what we do around this time?
We do.
We stop looking at dumpster fire earnings names, and we get our names in the chat. We holler, we thank Danielle Shay, we thank Bears versus Bulls. I thank all of you live in the chat, and then Adara drops. Roll call time, you know what up. Yes, RL, it is a criminal move on Dex. That was a ridiculous stock. But you know what time it is, it's roll call time. Let's kick it on over to Adara.
Yes, let's go. Okay, thank you, Bears vs. Bulls, for everything you do. So happy to have you with us every single day. I also want to thank Fabian, killing it on the other side. You cannot see him, but he is there. He's behind us, and he is being awesome. Alex L, we've got Jane Wick, we have Sir Bud, Freddie the Friendly Guy, Bears vs. Bulls again. Shout out Daryl Flinch, K2 certified, Neil Roberts, Darwin, Bears vs. Bulls again, Bearing Kia 2020, Hook Up, Sebastian, Sir Bud, Dave Clark, Easy Trader, DKL Fighter, Black Sheep Trades, Finch Jane, TH, Richard Fan, Henrik, Brandon Townsend, Freddie the Friendly Guy, Josh Plays, DFS, Eli, Danielle Shay, shout out to you, Big Smile Burdette, Anyarog, Bears vs. Bulls again, Mark L, J Haas, Take Profit Tom, let's hopefully took some profits today because big move down, Ethan Hunt, Seth, Nightbot, Bob Kieran, the philanthropist Baker, we've got live trading by Trader TV Live, shout out to Fabian, Bright Awakening, Seth, we have Robert Shepard, we have V-Dog, we have Bearing Kia. Again, we've got Seth again, VT. We're seeing a couple repeats here. Also, for note, Sam dropped because their earnings sucked. I put them in the chat, but that is a disgusting revenue miss. And they also missed on net income. That is why it's not about beer. Literally, we're talking revenue, 579.1 million versus the estimate of 597.3 million. That is gross, but I will get back to these couple last names.
No, that objectively sucks.
Javier, Julius, Aaron Figuera, we have Armour, we have Dave Clark, we've got Apple and Raisin Pancakes with powdered sugar, Odyssey Fights, Finch Jane, so many beats, Michael, yeah, so many people here, guys.
We try to keep it real here, like those earnings objectively suck.
I know we don't have, no, earnings aren't bad or good, it's how the market reacts, but if you missed across the board,
you're supposed to beat expectations. Not good, but this is the best thing about trading. Okay, the second best thing about trading is the market opens tomorrow. That's the best thing about trading. The second best thing about trading is you can go both directions, or there's always something strong. Like if it's down, there's always something that's going up. So you always have an opportunity, and that's what we're all about here. We have the best community in the entire trading community because we try to keep it real with each other. We have people that only like to go short, Kyle, and we have people that love to be long and love to be perma bulls. You can make it work for you no matter what, but you've got to have some rules, and you've got to be honest with yourself, and you've got to stay disciplined. And the other thing you have to do is tune right back in, because at 8:30 tomorrow, we're going right at it to end the week. It's going to be wild. Another crazy day in the markets, I know, is in tune for us. So you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, take a deep breath, and let's start all over again at 8:30 tomorrow morning. We'll see you. That